Good morning, Xbox. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 17 of Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. We hope that you're having a great start to your morning, and thank you so much for joining us here. Got my fantastic panel of characters ready to go this morning. Except for Scrubners. Scrubners couldn't be with us this morning, so that gave us another opportunity to bring in a guest, someone who was featured not so long ago on our community spotlight. So glad to have him here. We'll introduce him in just a moment. I think he's definitely no stranger to most people in this community. But let's get right down to the panel. We'll start sort of in order and roll back around, starting with that lovely young lady with the flashy purple hair and the awesome Xbox beanie. It's Coolcat Terri.
Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna have some good combo today. I don't really know what else to say, so take it away.
Take it away. Speaking of taking things away, Eternal Shaddai is back with the like I said, should we put out the seizure warnings on the podcast here with that flashing background? What's going on, Shaddai?
Not for nothing, but I wasn't expecting people say not for it might put a lot of people into seizures, but at the same time, I love watching it. I'm like, I don't get it, but at the same time, I was laughing. So I just left it like that, for people to pretty much get into the lights or whatever. But be warned, don't get seizures. If you have seizures, let me know. I'll turn it off real quick.
I think we should be okay. Nobody's complained about it yet. We're just poking good fun. Speaking of good fun, the man with some fantastic opinions and great articulation on things, the man who rolls into every show, it's Cerebral Paul.
And nice hair also. Very nice. Oh.
Yeah, he's got that slick dude. That slick dude.
I actually thought about, the seizure thing. I thought one of these days I should show up with Alka-Seltzer in my mouth and just start.
Oh, no. That's great.
Good morning, everybody. We're off for a great Sunday. Good way to start the week. So let's get rolling.
Absolutely. And the man also had a pretty flashy hair. It was just not as long. It's Axel1324 supporting that Batman t-shirt.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, we have a fantastic show today with lots of hero topics, so I figured I'd wear a hero shirt today.
Indeed. And speaking of heroes of the community, our guest is the one, the only, like I said, man who was featured on the community spotlight a few weeks back. He is Dreadpool. That's right. Don't confuse him with Deadpool. It's Dreadpool, but he's just as cool. Here he is in the flesh on our podcast. Good morning, Dread.
Good morning, Xbox.
You've been waiting to do that, haven't you?
Yeah. I've been wanting to do that. Oh, by the way, I got a mental note. This isn't Tuesday nights. This is not Tuesday nights. I got to keep it clean.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me. It's cool to have a show, especially positivity show, right?
Yeah.
It's not happy kumbaya, none of that stuff, but it's more on the positivity side. So yeah, thanks for having me. So
absolutely, it's good to have you here.
Yeah,
and I think there's enough positive stuff in the community, and there's certainly ways to go about a lot of stuff with a brighter outlook on it than constant, antagonistic views and stuff like that, or just we there's certainly nobody on this panel that just jumps in here and puts off a show for clickbait and flip flops all around, that sort of thing. I think we're pretty genuine as to who you get here is who we pretty much are in real life. I think that's the thing, and we love Xbox. That's one thing we all have in common here. We love it in every facet, I think. So are they perfect? By no means, but
well, I think with what's coming out, you guys are going to go into a flip flop stage. It's going to be a flip croc. Have you seen those new Crocs that they have?
I have not.
I don't do
Windows
Crocs.
Central posted the
shoes.
Master Chief Crocs.
Oh boy,
I love Crocs. I might have to get
There you
them.
go, Coolcat Terri. Gonna get new shoes.
There you go. I'm gonna have to go check them out. Damn.
True story. I hate shoes. Like, I don't like wearing shoes.
There you go. I don't like wearing underwear, but hey,
Don't you hate pants?
I gotta keep them
Hey,
on.
that's why I'm not on camera. It's a naked podcaster.
Big Dread just keeps everything covered up with his beard, eh?
Oh my gosh.
It's like those, those pictures of the ladies that always cover their boob with their hair down over the side. He does the same thing, right? Just goes straight down the middle.
Yep. Yep.
So funny. True story. When I was in the Army, we were moved from the barracks into a nice hotel room, into an extended stay hotel room, because there were just so many of us at one point. And one of the guys was sleeping, and he always said, "Oh yeah, I sleep naked," or whatever. Anyways, we all talked to each other that say that we were going to go out on a Friday or Saturday. I don't remember. And we're getting ready to go out, and we're like, "Man, where's this guy at?" So we go and knock on his door, and sure enough, he opens the door, butt naked, right, like full blown open too. He's all like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dude, where's your clothes?" And he's like, "I told you, man, it's naked time. I'm sleeping." He answered the door, butt naked. I was like,
"Sounds like you talked to my brother."
Damn, that's funny.
I will say, as I've gotten older, if I happen to be naked, somebody comes to the door, it's all I can do to remember I got to put something on. I really just, at some point, you just don't care. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. We know. We saw it on your background not too long ago.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Oh man, great start to the show here, guys. Let's acknowledge our fantastic chat, starting with the one and only Doggy Dog, who's here this morning, and he drops the first super chat of the morning. As I always tell people, guys, you know what, super chats, they're certainly not required or requested, but we do appreciate them all the same. So Doggy Dog dropping $1.99. Happy Sunday, new panel and chat. Well, happy Sunday to you, Doggy. Hope that all is well. We got some great cast of characters in here this morning besides Doggy, including Gone Mad. Have you gone mad, sir? Have you? Nix is here. What is going on, Nix? We have got, I see Spooky Sprocket hanging out with us. Lost Forever is here as well. We got R. Rob, the Halo Slayer himself. We've got, who else we got going on here? Scrolling down the listy. We got Happy Cloud Gamer. What is up, Happy Cloud? Got some guy named Cerebral Paul in the chat. Man, what a tool. Scrub Nurse graces us with his presence in the chat. Those Crocs are ridiculous, he said. We got Your Wicked Hot, who was playing some Call of Duty with Dreadpool last night. We got Mr. Tushy. What's going on, Tushy? Marletsko is here. Man, great crew already this morning. So thank you all so much. If I didn't give you an acknowledgement, Crispy Rambo, let me know in the chat. I try to make sure that I thank and acknowledge everybody that turns up, because you guys are the bread and butter while we do this, and we certainly appreciate the time you take out of your day to be especially part of a live show. Definitely not easy on this one, trying to get up like super early, but hey, you get up, have your coffee and breakfast, and listen to us blabbing away like I'm doing right now. All right, let's get right down to it, shall we? Let's talk about some of our topics this week. And I guess the first big topic is just about the rumored Microsoft acquisition thing. Unless you've been living on the rock for the past 5 or 6 days or haven't caught anybody's podcast, it's sort of been a big deal. But is it legitimate? That's the question. And we'll ask the panel, do they think there's any substance to these speculations and rumors? And if so, just theoretically, this is just fun to speculate. We all get a little bit excited about those things because, hey, getting more studios means more games. And, like I said, you can have what, if you look at Sony, and you look at the whole Insomniac thing, that's starting to look like a bigger absolute win for them, because the games they got coming out and the talent level and hopefully the speed at which they've been bringing out the games, they're obviously got something going right over there. And that, what was it, $250 million or something, or 2.5 billion, whatever it was. I think it was under $1 billion, wasn't it? Anybody know the exact figure? But either which way, it was a steal of a deal.
It's on 100 million, something like that.
It was like 275 million, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that.
It was like the steal of the century series.
Because the 1 point something billion, it was because they bought Crunchyroll.
Right. I might be getting that too confused. Mm-hmm. But either which way, I think it's safe to say, that was a hell of a steal of a deal for them right now. It looks like it's paying massive dividends and probably will so for the long time future. So, but anyway, we're not here to talk about Insomniac or anything Sony related. Just I wanted to put that out there. So we're talking about the potential that Microsoft is not done, that they may be requiring another studio or studios, publisher, et cetera. Let's go around the circle and let's find out what everybody thinks. I've kind of said a little bit on this on Breakfast with Boom this Friday. So shout out to Boom and thanks to him for having me on there. But let's go around the circle and let's find out how Coolcat Terri feels about these rumors and speculations. What do you think is up, Terry? Anything at all? And theoretically, like I said, just who would you like to see them acquire? Who do you think would fit that portfolio?
Well, let me see. Honestly, I do not think that they're going to acquire anything else right now. Invested a lot right now, so they're probably going to out before they. It's definitely been that trend ever since Microsoft acquired ZeniMax. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they're going to buy this, this, and this, and this next. It's like might, but then again, like I said, they just spent a good chunk. They got to get all this. I don't think they're going to do any, but if they did, honestly, it probably wouldn't be a good thing, but I'm one of those because I'm super biased. I would say go ahead and buy Ubisoft just because I love Ubisoft. I want it all to myself, but it's not practical. Ubisoft is pretty big. They don't really need to be bought, and they do just fine on their own as a multi. But I'm greedy, so give me my stuff. So
that's an interesting pick. That's an interesting pick. How do you think that would be if that was to be true? And I'm very doubtful, just because Ubisoft seems very self-sufficient. How do you think that would benefit them as well? Like, why would you think they would want to sign on as in any particular reason?
They might want to utilize the infrastructure that Microsoft has with their Game Pass to uplift their whatever the heck they have. They keep changing their names, but it could benefit them because their servers and stuff aren't the best.
Is it just me, or does Terry keep cutting in and out?
That's what I was.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
I'll talk louder and see if maybe my microphone's just cutting me out. But I was saying that Ubisoft can maybe utilize Microsoft's infrastructure with like their servers and stuff, because Ubisoft has pretty crap online server, stuff like that, and to help with their Ubisoft Connect, so they can have some benefit back and forth. And then, did they still call it Uplay? I don't even know if they still call it Uplay anymore. I think.
Yeah, they still do. Yeah.
Tying that in with Game Pass and stuff would be huge for Xbox as well. So they could, there's some give and take they could do. But honestly, if they did buy out, if they bought Ubisoft, it would, because they're a multi-platform company, it would be more of a shot in the face to the fan bases elsewhere. So it's not really practical, but I mean, if they did it, they could pull it off if they wanted to. I mean, flipping Microsoft, they're like one of the top 5 richest companies in the world, so they can buy whoever they wanted to, as long as there was someone was like, yeah, we're selling,
Gotcha. Hey, just a heads up, it seems like it's more prevalent when you turn to your left. When you're sort of facing the right side of the camera, it sounds like your audio is pretty good. And then when you sort of swing a little bit to the left, that's what I'm noticing it cutting out.
Okay. So yeah, it's because my microphone's over here. So I start to glance at chat and I'll move away from it. All right.
You could try adjusting the input gain on your microphone, because I think you're dropping out because it's so sensitive to the fact that you're not right in the mic.
I already have that low as hell. So no, that's not it. It's just because I'm moving away from it.
Okay.
All right. It's all good. Any further thoughts there, Terry? Or
I mean, if they could, Crystal Dynamics. If they bought Crystal Dynamics, that would be amazing. Take it away from Square, and just get Crystal Dynamics. Tomb Raider is fantastic, and that would really be the thing. Sony would have their Uncharted, and then Xbox would have Tomb Raider.
That would be a huge acquisition. Just wonder now if the Indiana Jones game coming out would fill that void. They're
very different characters.
Yeah, true indeed. We got Caper Grant in the chat. He's dropping $5 this morning. What's going on, Caper? Good to see you here, brother. Crazy Greek dude is in the house. I know he's busy and up to his elbows in restaurant duties this morning, but good to see you. Jesse Darby swinging by and then heading out, I guess, to work or something like that, but good to see you. Hey, the Mag is in the house. What's going on, Mag? I don't know if I'm hungover or still drunk. Good to see you, Mag. Glad you could be here.
The answer
Hopefully
to that is yes. The answer to that is yes. Okay.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, it's not either or. It's just yes.
General Spartan hanging out with us this morning. What's going on? A good friend of the show, Clement Obera. He says, regardless of acquisitions, we need AAA single player. No doubt about that. Yeah, like I said, Dark Queen Gaming is in the house. What's going on? Casket Repair is here with us as well. Good to see everybody. All righty. If are your thoughts done, we'll move along with the art, Terry.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I like what you had to say. Great reasoning behind both theories. How about you, Mr. Shaddai? Where do you stand on this?
For my first pick, I had NetherRealm. Killer Instinct having been used, and NetherRealm is a perfect fit for it, and a really good crossover between Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat should be epic. They have they really have a good record making those fighting games, so there's no doubt about it. And the other one that I had on mind, which sometimes I'm like, I don't know if it's realistic to be acquired, and that should be Crytek for their Cry engine. Now that they have Tech, it should be pretty nice how they can utilize the Cry engine and the Tech together, if that ever happened. And also because of Rise Son of Rome 2, it should be back, and it's not being utilized either. And actually, Crytek is pretty big also. So I believe I have some other ones, but I'm gonna stick with those. I have Sega just because they want, they need to grow a little bit more on the Pacific side end. Now that they have Tango GameWorks, by having Sega, it should be expanding a little bit more on that horizon. So I believe for me, those three should be fine.
Yeah, it's Bethesda owns Tango, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
For the Evil Within, correct.
Yeah. Yeah, Sega would be huge. I'm pretty sure if Microsoft did come up with something with Sega, people would probably balk at it and then say Sega was a washed up has-been, something like that. But there's no denying they have a massive amount of properties, a lot of games that people know today, but they've got a catalog and a back repertoire that would blow most people's minds. Like I said, if they go back to the well and they bring out some of those IPs, the ones that we grew up with on the Genesis era and stuff,
or Dreamcast. So
yeah, absolutely. Got a lot of varying opinions in the chat as well. Lots of people mentioned the Embracer Group. Not sure if anyone on this panel had that one on their list this morning, but any further thoughts, should I?
Actually, no.
The Killer Instinct thing was, again, that's spot on. It definitely makes sense of a lot of games for sure. I agree with you wholeheartedly. How about you, Cerebral Paul? You man look like you've been sitting on some thoughts.
Our Rob took my thing there. Because if they picked up some of the WB titles, it would cover like Batman and the Lord of the and that stuff. And because that covers another one of our topics, but. The way I see it, I don't see another acquisition. We are in the middle of Xbox's fiscal year right now because they go from July to June, and we've heard nothing. But every time there's a show, there's going to be an acquisition. There's going to be an acquisition. I don't necessarily see an acquisition. I do see them maybe announcing some deals. So hey, now we're going to be working with this to bring you this, but I don't see an outright. We're going to buy this company. Because I've said it before on this show, just because they have the money and everybody knows they have the money, and they're probably looking for Microsoft to throw them a big wallet full of cash, to buy their company, doesn't mean Microsoft is going to do it. Yeah. Because they've got to see a return on that investment.
I was going to say, at some point you got to start making money, right?
Right. And they know that everybody's looking at them and going, hey, you got all the money and we want some of that. So they have to play that easy too,
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Yeah, but do you think, like, from that one side, because again the Wolverine thing is very interesting with Sony, right? Because as I've said on previous podcasts, Paul, like the thing is, it's all about perception. And if all of a sudden they do Wolverine, and who knows, maybe it doesn't end there. Maybe they get another Marvel character like the Hulk or Captain Marvel, or who God knows who they're going to snap up next. And then all of a sudden the competitor becomes the place to play the biggest, the biggest Marvel properties, and it might not end there. So that's the thing. Like, do you let that slide?
I don't think they're going to let it slide, but I also don't think they're going to react off the cuff, because a lot of these titles they announced last week are for years down the road.
Yeah.
Microsoft has time to let this stew, to think about it. Okay, what's our best option? What can we do to meet this? And there already may be some stuff in the works from some of these companies, and they may go, like Warner Brothers and Batman, they may be working on stuff, and Xbox could approach them and go, okay, we want to make this exclusive. And that would be that, to me, that might be a smarter option for them than to go outright and buy those properties, just to say, let's make this at least a timed exclusive. Let's say they've got Wolverine, we've got Batman, which is a great head-to-head comparison, by the way.
Yeah,
the fighting styles and the story styles would be so close to the same.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Batman, let's bring him in here right now.
Batman. Phil Spencer just needs to whip out the Batman credit card and buy things. It's
like a bat signal going off somewhere. It's like a little ding, 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 ding,
ding. Sorry. Yeah, no, he needs to buy something, or I know it's not Phil who buys it; it's definitely somebody else.
Yeah.
But who would fit Microsoft? Well, Ubisoft, I don't think is on the table, just because it wasn't too long ago that they fought against a hostile takeover. So I don't think they want to be owned. They like being independent. Take-Two Interactive, I mean, if the money's right, you can get them for like $50 billion. So I just don't see that level of purchasing. And Take-Two Interactive doesn't really. I mean, they put out a great game like Grand Theft Auto, but it's been 8 years. And then it was also 8 years between Red Dead and Red Dead Redemption 2. They're kind of a slower working studio, but what they put out are complete masterpieces. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I don't think they fit what Microsoft wants. Microsoft wants studios to get into a release cadence, so that they can have something every.
That's right.
Every quarter. So who does that leave? I think WB Games is probably the best fit. You have Ed Boon over at WB. You could bring him over to do the Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat thing. Rocksteady, who already knows how to make superhero games, they're actually the ones who basically modernized the superhero games. So they would be fantastic. And of course, they have Batman on there. But the problem with Rocksteady is, outside of Batman, they haven't really made anything.
Right.
So if they don't get the Batman license from WB and a sweet deal, it's really not going to be that great of a grab.
Axel, let's put it this way: if Rocksteady, let's say, was part of Microsoft and they can't make any Batman, which other characters do you consider them making other than Batman?
None, because it's all licensing. Microsoft doesn't do licenses anymore, if you've noticed their trend.
But with Rocksteady's background in making fighting games, very good fighting games, there's no reason to say they can't create a whole new IP, which is what people want.
Right.
We need new IP. We need new IP. Well, if you can't get Batman, let's create a new IP, new storyline, new everything.
That's right. I'm telling you, grab the boys, man. That would be so great. You could play the game from two perspectives. One perspective from the non superpowered guys, and then one perspective from the supes. That would be awesome.
I don't know if I'd want to be the non-superpowered guys. Okay, game beginning. Okay, your head just blew off. Game over. Okay, that's it.
That's not the way the boys goes, though. It's very political, if you will, and I love it. I love how it's just.
It depends on how if they were to tell the story right. Yeah, you don't want to launch into the game and be one of the passengers on the plane. Let me.
That's right. Definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah, this is not going to end well. Yeah,
No, but crashing into a whale, that'd be awesome. Yeah, no, I think honestly the best studio right now for Xbox to get is Capcom. Capcom has good IPs. They got Resident Evil, they got Mega Man, they got others out there. And they already are in a cadence of releasing every 3 to 4 years a nice AAA experience. So, and they're a Japanese company, which solves the Japanese issue. I really think it would be the Capcom or Sega. Now, as a huge Sega fan, I would love Sega because there are so many good IPs that Sega has just let die for no good reason.
And
that's
true.
Sega is a lot more than just Sonic. They have Total War on the PC, which is an amazing game.
Don't
they also have the Yakuza series, which are phenomenal. Sega also has some really nice. I know we don't really like to say this, some nice light gun enabled games.
Yeah,
that they could bring over. So Sega to me is great, and I think they're the most grabbable because Sega is owned by Sammy Corporation. Right. So all they got to do is buy them out from Sammy, who has looked to get out of video games several times. So yeah, can we
call Sammy?
But then you run into that thing that you've talked about before, where Japanese companies don't necessarily like to sell out to American companies. That's why I'm thinking if they're going to work with those deals, it's going to be more of an agreement than a total buyout.
Possibly true, but I don't think anybody's opposed to it with enough money. But you also can't overpay. Like
right,
the good business is not just throwing
a little finicky about that. We all know
throwing that money around. Yeah. By the way, Spooky Sprocket. So back in the Xbox 360 days, I had a Batman avatar. And he says, "Can we get a game with Axel as Batman?" So I had a Batman avatar, and there were several games you could play on the Xbox 360 with your avatar, including Guitar Hero. So I would always be rocking out as Batman on Guitar Hero. So yeah, from the big publisher standpoint, I think that's probably who's the best. Whether it be Capcom or Sega, they cover areas that Xbox needs, which is Japanese influence with great IPs and great legacies. As far as smaller studios, I think they need to lock up Studio MDHR, Moon Studio as well. MDHR makers of Cuphead, Moon Studio makers of Ori for those smaller platformy games.
Yeah.
I would also like it if they grab that studio that makes what's that game? The Silk Song. The Silk Song expansion just came out.
Silk Song expansion.
Yeah, it's a bug game. It's like a Metroidvania bug game. It's really quite phenomenal. I can't believe I forgot it. Hold on.
Save him, Terry. Save him. You are the indie queen.
I know. Come on, Terry.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I have Bloodstain on my mind, but I'm like, can't be.
You realize how many bug games there are?
Well, it's not Bug Snacks. Hold on. I'm connecting to my library right now. Okay. I'll pull it out as soon as I see my library on Steam. I'm connecting to it now.
Earth Defense.
Don't pull it out.
Crank it out.
So in the chat, Lemon,
has
Carlos survived the night? If there was a lot of drinking involved, did Carlos survive? Or is Clown's going to be on hiatus for like a week while he recovers from hanging out with you?
Oh my God, what is it?
Clown's probably woke up with no beer this morning.
Or at least half a beer.
Yeah, he's all clean shaven on one side.
I do want to add while Axel's searching for his game there.
Hollow Knight, the studio that makes Hollow Knight.
Oh, Hollow Knight.
See, when you say bugs, I'm not thinking about Hollow Knight.
It's a bug game. There's nothing but bugs in that game.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Anyway, they're called Team Cherry. I think they need to pick up Team Cherry as well. And my Suko put it in the chat. Hollow Knight, yeah. Sorry.
There you go.
So yeah, those are the 3 indie studios I think they need to lock up.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe is best for Xbox.
Great. Great picks from everybody so far, but we're not done yet. Let's bring in the man of wisdom, Dreadpool. How do you feel about it all, man? Do you think something is up, Dread? I know you talk to a lot of inside sources and people that are at least fairly up on these kind of things. So where do you stand on all this? And even if it's just theoretical, I mean, just, who would you like to see fit that Microsoft portfolio?
We'll hit it all because Axel's wrong with Capcom. They're on a high. Why? You don't want to throw money at something like that, but yet you say Capcom? Come on, man. Get with it. What are you doing?
What are you talking about, man? Capcom is phenomenal.
Yeah. No,
Street Fighter.
I get it though. I get it. Obviously everybody knows. I'm gonna say Sega. That's my one thing because I have a Sega Dreamcast 5 sitting right next to me. Okay, there's stacked 3 consoles high for all you that know. Yeah, I agree with that. Axel dude. Axel is a fraud. So yeah, Sega would be like the definite one to do. Sammy had done restructuring. They got rid of the arcade division. I called this last year that they were restructuring to see if they can make money or sell off. So when you're restructuring like that, you're trying to minimize any kind of loss. So one, you look good for any investor to say, hey, look, this is what we're bringing in off of just this, because nobody wants to buy the arcade division, at least not in the console space, right? So no one's going to do that. Get rid of that. Now you have something that you can say, hey, look, here we are. We consolidate this portion of our industry, and this is what we have, and look at the kind of money it's bringing in, So in that aspect, like I said, it's either sink or swim. If they do very well, they could probably just keep it. But usually when you do that, you're looking to get rid of it. And as Axel has mentioned earlier, they've been trying to sell off before. So I'll give you that one on Sega. Now, WB, I've said it before. I heard that they never left the table. They just kind of slid the chair back a little bit, kind of gathered their thought process once that price jacked up. Like, wait a second, what am I getting and what am I not getting? So the exclusivity deal really wouldn't apply because, yet again, they don't think of it as exclusivity when it's on the Xbox platform because it's across PC, it's across your cell phones, not just the consoles. And anything that has a browser. So it'll be on Apple, it'll be on Android, it'll be on whatever else has, the NVIDIA Shield has a browser, if I recall. So I don't know. I could play it on my PlayStation 3. It's got a browser. You know what I mean? So
I refer to it as the Xbox ecosystem because it's all wraps into that.
Exactly.
Cloud, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's Xbox. It's not Xbox Live. It's not Xbox Network. They put network on there to show you that it's different. But yet again, it's Xbox collectively. It's no 360. It's not none of that stuff. It's just Xbox. So it could go anywhere. So that's why there really isn't the exclusivity there. Yet again, that's why, the fanboys fight over, well, it's not exclusive. Well, no, duh, it's not, but it is.
No, but yeah, because it gets people into the ecosystem.
Exactly.
It is. I love it.
You know what I mean? But, so in that aspect, yeah, it makes sense. Now, you do that. We talked about Rocksteady. They made Spider-Man basically because Spider-Man is a clone of Batman. Think about it. All right. They changed up the way superhero fighting started off because we all remember how Batman side scroller was and back in the Nintendo days and hadn't changed much. And now, they finally did something. And obviously Spider-Man put their, Insomniac put their own twist with Spider-Man. So it's not a complete clone, but when you look at a game style, everybody's doing the same thing, right? Battle Royale, everybody's doing it. It's who do we give the credit to? It's usually PUBG. Now it's Fortnite for those that didn't know about PUBG. So it's just that Xerox mentality. Is it Xerox or is it a photocopy? You know what I'm saying? It's a company's name, so everybody kind of goes with that. And once that dies off, it goes back to what it really was as a photocopy. Can you copy this out? Now, here's another one. Okay, and this kind of got brought up when I was talking with Shane Lewis, Rerez. Someone brought it up, and it kind of made sense, because what about Epic Games? Okay, with everything going on with China right now, pulling back from gaming, forcing Tencent to pull back from their gaming because they have such a wide reach. So Epic could be the next one, and not only for the games that they have. Let's see, Fortnite, one of the biggest free to play battle royale. I mean, you put all those buzzwords in there, it's one of the biggest.
Yeah, but didn't Sony just purchase a stake in Epic though?
I think they did too, but that doesn't stop
That was
them
like
from
a
buying.
2.5% stake.
Yeah.
It was minor.
It doesn't stop them from buying them.
Yeah.
I mean, they all buy stuff from each other anyway. So here's what I'm getting at. Unreal Engine, right? You get the Unreal Engine for this, right? Sony has a good relationship with Epic Games, but if you buy the Unreal Engine, guess what? Sony has to license Unreal Engine from Xbox. Havoc, was it Blinks? There's a whole bunch of software for gaming that Microsoft owns. So people are paying Microsoft anyway, even though they're not buying the games.
Yeah.
They're buying games for the competitor, but there's still money's still going back over to Xbox because it's still filtering back through the technology that they've licensed out. So, like I said, not only is the games there, they have a huge name, and then you got the engine. So now imagine Quake versus Unreal. Imagine that game coming out. I mean, they used to be competitors, and we can have an Unreal tournament again one more time. So, but that's really where it's at. Those three. If anyone would be the most believable, I would say WB. At least a portion of it with some sort of deal for the IPs.
Yeah, absolutely. Great takes, and I knew Dreadpool would find another angle on it, including, like you said, the game engines that often come associated with various publishers and studios in particular. So, great asset. I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. I gave a really good spiel on it that I don't think I could emulate on Breakfast with Boom. I'm with Axel and Paul. If anything makes sense the most, it would be Warner Brothers. Because, I mean, obviously, when you're trying to buy up a publisher, it's a much easier negotiation when that publisher, the people behind them or the owners or whatever, like the shareholders in terms AT&T, who's fallen on hard times and are looking to gain some money with those, by selling off their assets. So it kind of makes a lot of sense. And the thing with Microsoft right now, and because of Game Pass in particular, they're about expanding the portfolio. It's all about variety of their games. If you've seen the list of games that have come to Game Pass in the last year and the stuff that Microsoft putting out, it's not just a steady string of first-person shooters or racing games. It's kind of everything. We've seen everything from Grounded to Sea of Thieves to racing games to Halo to Gears. So you got a little bit of everything, and I think they want to continue that because they have to appeal to multiple audiences with Game Pass. And again, this is why it's so different. I mean, back in the day, the thought of an acquisition was very scary for a lot of people. And why? Because back in the day, I mean, after the end of the Genesis era into the 32-bit and 64-bit eras of things, like a lot of these studios came out and everything was dependent on them having a massive hit. And guess what happened if they didn't have massive hits that weren't runaway successes? Yeah, exactly, Axel. It was like this. Boom. That studio is now defunct. They've people are on the unemployment line. Studios got absolved. They either shut down. We've seen so many, it's not even funny. During the Xbox 360 and PS3 era, come out and make a game that perhaps just didn't deliver on their target, and then just like that, there goes that studio. We've seen a lot of them, but that seems to be a little bit more of a thing of the past lately because content is king, and in this billion-dollar industry, it's all about having content, especially when you're trying to sell a service. You can ask the guys at Netflix; they will tell you you can't take your foot off the pedal because the moment you do, People are either unsubscribing or going to a competitor.
Mhm.
So it's all about keeping it there. The other thing with Warner Brothers, again, and again, the IP, great point. But even without the IPs, the studios themselves speak for themselves. I mean, you got Traveler Tales, you got obviously Rocksteady, you got NetherRealm Studios. Those three studios alone are fairly damn huge. I think anybody in the games industry that knows anything would know who those studios are. Yeah, I get it. Rocksteady in particular has mostly just been known for the Batman. But hell, there's some of the best games we've ever played. They're not just good Batman games, or they're damn good games. You could take the cowl off and they'd still be good games. But having the IPs to go with it would be absolutely huge. Do they need a superhero game? Not necessarily. But as I mentioned, if Sony continues to drive this with Disney and Marvel and continues to get superheroes, I think it's only logical that Xbox has icons of that nature that can reflect. I mean, we get it. Master Chief is huge. Master Chief has transcended gaming. Master Chief is not just a game character, but I mean, he is to that point where he's got merchandise. When you can walk into Walmart and see toys like on the shelves, like the competitor for Lego. What is it? The Mechanics or whatever he's in, and
Mega Constructs.
Yeah, toy lines, cartoons, the whole 9 yards. That's what I'm talking about. It's about icons. Now with Sega, they have their own icons, and nothing bigger than Sonic the Hedgehog, which would be absolutely huge. Could you imagine Sonic the Hedgehog on the Xbox billboards moving forward as only on Xbox or Xbox platforms? Absolutely massive. But yeah, like to get and if you're going to get a superhero, I see people putting out these superhero names in the chat sometimes, and I'm like, come on, dude, like they're your favorite superheroes, but if you're going to do superheroes, it got to be iconic superheroes. They got to be people that kids know on the street.
Deadpool.
Deadpool is great.
I'm sorry,
Deadpool, Deadpool, because of his mature nature, doesn't
even
lend
a hero?
himself well, right?
I'm a hero, okay?
Yeah, we love him. But Axel's wearing the shirt to prove it. How many of you guys have been in Walmarts or any of the retailers and you see Batman stuff, wears it almost everywhere, right? Whether you're a comic book fan, a video game fan, a movie fan, there's not hardly a kid on this planet that doesn't know Spider-Man or Batman, and perhaps even Superman. So you got to go big or you go home. You don't get the lesser, even like Green Lantern's great and all, okay? But Green Lantern is not going to do it. Green Lantern is not going to go head to head with Spider-Man. Again, it's not on that level. So you got to get the most iconic heroes possible, and that's where again.
Real quick, let me just
go ahead.
If they had a really really kick-ass Green Lantern movie or any of those fringe superheroes that
Yeah.
are right at the fringe, that could push it over the top. That is the one.
It is.
He
that's
is
true.
right there. He just can't break that ceiling yet. Because of that piece of crap that they did with Ryan Reynolds a few years back.
Yeah,
That's true.
Totally. Well, you're totally right, Paul. I mean, obviously, the success of the movies has driven the properties themselves. I mean,
Right.
some people want superhero stuff to go away. Unfortunately, it's not. I mean, it's how many years now since basically the Avengers came out and was absolutely huge, or Guardians of the Galaxy. Heck, we even got a Guardians of the Galaxy game coming out. Would that game have existed a few years ago? Probably not. Why does it exist now? Because the movies were massively successful. That is the reason why. And I think we do need more superhero games.
Very little draw. Before those movies, there was little draw to
Exactly.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right?
Yeah.
I almost forgot to add one thing.
Yeah.
And it fits in with this too, right? Ed Boon, he had tweeted that he would love to work on
That's
Killer
correct.
Instinct. Okay. And obviously they do was it Injustice?
Correct.
So right there, man. I mean, between Injustice, you have all the superhero fighting games, you have the other stuff that they do, bringing the talent into Xbox Studios. So there's a lot of stuff that WB would be a good addition for.
Yeah, and people seem to forget Warner Brothers is more than just a gaming division. Warner Brothers comes with the accessibility to a lot of the movie assets, stuff that they actually own the rights to, not just because they're licensing Batman, obviously, right, for the game for Rocksteady. But I'm not talking about the IP, but what about their own intellectual stuff, their movie divisions, their TV stuff? We're talking about something massive like the Matrix. Could you imagine the Matrix
So
associated with
pretty much
Xbox?
you're trying to say trying to counter attack like Crunchyroll the way they did it, but now
Exactly.
it's understood.
Imagine right now if they were able to come up with a Matrix game, the draw
Exactly.
that would have.
This is what I'm saying. It transcends just the gaming that we know it and being narrow-minded. We got to talk about all the properties. How
Yep.
this would give Microsoft massive roads with gaming, movies, TV, you name it. Again, if they're expanding, and perhaps even Game Pass will expand past gaming at some point. Maybe in 5 years, Game Pass is so big that they do what Sony's doing, where they're combining Crunchyroll into PlayStation Now for maybe another fee. So it could be like Xbox Game Pass Unlimited or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So you know,
You're making me
Ultimate
I
Ultimate.
voodoo.
You're making me flashback.
Could you imagine?
TV.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Hey,
But-
Xbox is always right. They were always ahead of the curve, man.
Yeah.
That TV was the right way to go. It just
Yeah.
kind of got so much backlash that it went down.
It's just the way that it
But
was
real quick.
marketed that it kind of went
Yeah.
like downhill.
Real
But where,
quick,
where are
just-
people gaming now? The people are not even just gaming on phones. People are actually gaming on TVs through apps on their TV. This is the thing. And if Game Pass goes outside as we think will happen, so in a couple of years, Samsung starts bundling Game Pass and an Xbox controller in with all their new TVs, guess what happens then? You have a whole new audience. And then you bring in Warner Brothers into that and iconic characters, and Batman is up on billboards next to freaking Master Chief and the Doom guy. Oh my God, dude. Like, you cannot deny it. That's beyond. I think it's even bigger than Bethesda, because while Bethesda is fantastic and makes some great games, Bethesda doesn't have anything on that scale of iconicness. You know what I mean? Like, not up there. And then you're gonna say, somebody said the other day, was it? Oh, Fallout's as big as Batman. Are you freaking kidding me? Go into your store and ask a 13-year-old or half the 12 or 13-year-olds who probably would follow this. Maybe half of them couldn't tell you. I bet you damn well they know who Batman and Superman are, though.
Here's the funny part:
Slap them.
the Orion Stream Tech.
Hmm.
That was part of the deal with ZeniMax. So yet again, they bought tech. They didn't just
Mhm.
buy the games.
Exactly. Those engines, like you said, the id engine and stuff. Like, holy mackerel, dude.
I would
Right.
love to see the Nemesis system. If you've played Lord of the Rings, you know the Nemesis system. Could you imagine the Nemesis system on a game like Halo? That would be
Yeah,
epic. Where
it's
like an
funny.
elite remembers you, or some brute remembers you, or I don't know. Make it
Hey,
even
Craig,
better.
what's up?
Where some drunk kills
I
you.
know, right?
That would be
Well,
awesome.
and it makes them that much tougher. As soon as they're your nemesis, they become
Yeah.
harder. to beat.
Exactly. It would be so much more fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Anyways, hey, you missed the
Yeah.
super chat there.
Oh,
Noof.
you
I
know, and
copied
the
it
whole
over into the
and
private
the
chat.
whole Traveler's Tale thing too. Like, think about that. I mean, those Lego games and stuff that they've been doing, that's huge itself. Like,
The
that's
Lego
yeah.
Batmans.
Yeah, well, whether we play them or not, they're huge for the industry. I mean, they're all big,
Those Lego games
multi-million
are
dollar
gigantic.
sellers. They're
Yeah, those Lego
gigantic. They
games
sell
are-
like gangbusters. Is why they make so many of them.
I have
Right.
just about every Lego version there is.
But
Yep,
also,
me too.
Phil said that Game Pass was missing an E for everybody game, so
Yeah.
that would be a huge plus for that too.
TV
Absolutely.
games. Yep.
Fighters, e-games, you name it. Like, it's the one deal that makes the most sense, more so than Sega. But Sega, like Axel said, would definitely help them make huge roads in the other side of the world in Asia, where Xbox struggles. I said this before. I said before the Xbox Series systems came out, you know, they should have partnered with Sega and had Sega sort of do the distribution and publishing of it over there, so it'd be no more as a Sega consoles kind of thing, because then it could have had like it could get into more hands and still be a Microsoft deal. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the branding would be a little bit different, just because people know that name and they would be more willing to go, okay, let's get this new Sega thing that's coming out here. We've seen that before. If you look at the 3DO days, 3DO was published by multiple people through Magnavox and Panasonic and different ones. So it's not unheard of. It's just, like I said, it depends on how it fits into the demographic. We got Spooky Sprocket coming in hot and heavy, $7.99 to Super Chat. PlayStation kind of is home to Marvel Heroes, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Xbox should look at DC Heroes. Exactly. So like people are going to, if they get one or two more superhero games, and it is possible, it's within that realm, especially largely if Wolverine comes out and be successful, and I think that it will, one, because it's Wolverine, and two, it's Insomniac. So I think right off the bat, they're probably going to have a hit. I can't see Insomniac coming out and butchering the IP. I really can't. Then there you go. Then they get another one and another one. Next thing you know, you got 5, 6, or 7 iconic Marvel heroes, and then Xbox is over there like, well, you got no superhero stuff unless you're creating the IP yourself. And we all know how that turns out. It can be very hit or miss, right? Trying to create a new IP of anything in this day and age is freaking hard, because you gotta sell it to an audience that doesn't know what the property's about, so.
Well, that's why I'm saying if they want to go after the superhero market in particular, they need to go after WB. That's really their only option.
Totally.
And that's when they will need to open up their wallet and say, hey, look, we may not get the payoff for a decade, but it's there. You not only do you have Batman and Superman, Titans on the WB is really big right now, and that's a deep show. Okay, that's that screams, let's make a game out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of their shows do. A lot, all the stuff they do on the WB, on the whatever the network is, the CW now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot they could dig into there, but in that case, they would have to be willing to crack open that wallet and just throw money at it, because WB knows, they got the money. Let's see what we can get.
Yep. And Microsoft,
if that's their priority at this point.
Yeah, and if they do get their own superhero games, perhaps, they don't have to make them entirely exclusive. They could even do timed exclusivity, which in alone, could you imagine a 2 or 3 year thing on a Batman game where it doesn't come to PlayStation for a couple of years? You think most Batman fans are going to sit around and wait, just like Xbox fans are not going to sit around and wait for like KOTOR, right?
Yeah.
It's not. No, you're not going to sit there and wait 2 or 3 years. So even timed exclusivity would be massively huge to lure favor for Game Pass subscribers. And by the time that comes over to a competing platform, they already have probably another game in the pipe. You know what I mean?
And as Dread said, exclusive to Xbox, it doesn't mean what it used to mean.
Yes.
That means PC. That means, cloud. That means, so it doesn't carry the same weight as it used to.
Yes.
So it'll be available to you if you have a phone, basically.
Yep.
And if you want to pay $15 a month, you're done.
Yeah, because you often hear that word too, and that's what some people hate Microsoft, because when you start hearing about buyouts, you hear about that monopoly, right?
Yep.
Right.
But again, monopoly is when you're taking things away from competitor, and there's no other way to basically enjoy said things. As Paul just mentioned, if they get Warner Brothers, doesn't mean you can't play it on other things. That's the thing. It's not like, we get Warner Brothers and you have to have an Xbox console. That's it. That's the only way you're playing this. Then it becomes a different ball game. But if you're able to play on PC and you can play on your phone, it's not like they're completely going, you have to have this one avenue or you guys are shit out of luck. That sort of thing.
You can play on Steam Deck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
What WB is telling Xbox right now?
Hmm.
And the stream goes down.
No, absolutely. Show me the money. And Microsoft's got the deep wallet. So if anybody can do it, it is them. And, somebody said in the chat that Discovery is part owner, something like that, or whatever with AT&T, but it doesn't matter. Anybody can be bought at any time if the price is right. And, and the red tape starts piling up too high. People like to sell. They like to get the money back. So don't say never. But anyway, Paul also said he doesn't think anything's happening now. I think I agree. I don't know if they're going to pull any triggers next week, just from where they're at. And again, you still got to make money too. You just can't buy. Nothing comes out. And this is the one thing with Microsoft got to be very careful with. You have all these studios and all these, these studios within your portfolio, but they've got to bring out their products too. Like at some point, like I said, somebody's got to tread on some necks, and they got to say these games got to start coming out because we need content in our system. Again, this is why we're not going to see everything be game of the year contenders or rated 9s. You're going to see 6s and 7s and 8s because there's just no way that any studio is going to be able to wait. Could you imagine if every single one of their studios was like, it's going to be 5 years to make a game? everyone. Like, oh my God, dude, we'd be losing our minds. It's not happening. So you're going to see that glut of content. You're going to see some gems that are going to come out under the radar that you kind of go, oh, well, that, I wasn't expecting that to be. Psychonauts 2 is almost that gem because everybody's giving it lots of praise right now, but really up until like the last couple of weeks, how many radars was that on? A lot of people hardly even give it the time of day. Oh, Psychonauts? What the frig is that? I never even played the first game. And now they're playing this one and they're going, oh my God, this game is so freaking good. They're going to have a lot of games in the same vein of Psychonauts. Trust me on that. That come out and you just, because it doesn't gather that hype or because, they're going to come out and surprise people, and that's great. And then they're going to have stuff that's going to come out and be, absolutely just dynamite. That's going to live up to some of the expectation.
Yeah. I'm just going to play another money quote here real quick. This is what WB is telling Xbox again.
$100 billion. Great stuff, guys. All right, any further thoughts on this before we bring in Coolcat Terri and the Indie Spotlight?
What if instead of acquiring an entire studio, what if they just acquired the Call of Duty IP?
From Activision,
No.
Well, that's a great
Activision's
thought.
main moneymaker.
Great thought in theory, but Activision ain't parting with that unless something nasty really happens. That's for sure.
I mean,
with it being constantly on a decline every single year, eventually they might want to be like,
making more money than ever.
We kind of ran it into the ground.
Call of Duty is the only game that can be on a decline and still outsell the next top product. That's the crazy.
Yeah.
I want to have that kind of decline.
We only made $4 billion last year. What the hell?
Yeah, we're down from 5.2 billion to 4 billion. Okay, whatever. And then
that was in the first 24 hours, guys. We gotta break.
You gotta remember when it comes to those kind of companies, microtransactions is key.
Yeah.
Oh, and absolutely. I could just see if Microsoft did buy the first thing we'd all be yelling is, make the game fucking smaller.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we don't have to want to buy a new hard drive just to install one game. Come on, man. Great thought, though, man. I love these thoughts. Like, again, this is all subjectional. It's just our thoughts. Nothing might need not even happen here. We don't know, but we do suspect that Microsoft isn't done. They've stated in the past they're not. We just don't know what level they're going to take things to next. Is it going to be a big thing that makes a splash like Bethesda, or will it be something on a smaller scale that could be totally huge and pay big dividends down the road? Like I said, that Insomniac deal by Sony was big in itself when it was announced, but now it looks even bigger. Like when you go back and look at it, you're like, man, Sony stole those guys.
Yeah, but that was Microsoft crazy. Because they could have made. Imagine, put it this way: Sunset Overdrive for that one, for that system. That's a huge blow from Microsoft that they should have purchased them a long time ago when Sunset Overdrive was released.
They should have, but they didn't.
But they could counterattack. Not sorry to cut you off, but at the same time, if they bought Sega like we were talking about, they could counterattack by re-releasing Jet Set Radio. So it would be cool to bring that back.
Yeah, but I don't see Jet Set Radio setting the world afire like it did in the Dreamcast era. It's it's a game that would come out, and of course, longtime fans would play it. But again, we're talking about from a diversity standpoint, it's amazing. But from an iconic standpoint, something that you'd think like a new person picking up and playing, it's a bit of a tough sell, I think. So
I like to rollerblade and vandalize.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
it was fun though.
Could you imagine a new age crazy taxi?
That would be cool. I was gonna say just add a TikTok to it, and that's. I mean, they're all vandalizing bathrooms right now and filming it.
Jesus.
So just turn that into some rollerblades, and there you go.
Yeah, no doubt.
I was gonna say because since the gaming generations are so different now with the younger generation, the only way you'd get them interested in Jet Set Radio is if you had the music from like BTS or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally. I like the ideas though, and that's what
I came back at the wrong time. Jet Set Radio music from BTS. What? I missed all that.
to appeal to the new generation of gamer, because if they brought Jet Set back, only the old school gamers are gonna care about it. The kids today aren't gonna care about it. So if you put BTS music in it, that's the only way you could get the younger generation to look at it.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to go with what's popular. That's what Jet Set Radio did. It had an epic soundtrack.
Well, it's
That
part of
is
the
true.
reason. Yeah, it's part of the reason you're seeing a lot of iconic characters show up in Fortnite, because that actually helps drum up business. People don't sometimes realize it, but like I said, having Master Chief in Fortnite may actually get more of the new age gamers to jump over and actually try Halo for the first time.
Oh my God. Have you guys seen that video where they show the Halo 5 trailer and some kids in the background is like, hold on, look at this, Mom, look at this. It's the guy from Fortnite. When Master Chief comes out, oh my God, if I could slap a kid across the internet.
Yep.
That happened at a car show. A car show I was at last week. There was a guy there. He made a kit for Knight Rider replica.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there were some little kids like, "Hi, it's from Fortnite." No, stop. No.
See, but think about it. That was like one of the smartest moves. It crossed the generations and brought back and made it relevant, even though yes, relevant in the wrong way, but it made those IPs relevant again.
Exactly.
Hey, but if they can make Paul McCartney relevant, sorry.
Absolutely. It's all reinventing yourself. Doesn't matter how you get out there as long as you get out there, right? So let's give a shout out to the chat while Coolcat Terri is firing up her piece here, because we got our good brother Mab. Mr. Fun Speculation is in the chat this morning. What's going on? Our good brother Lemon is here as well. What's happening, Lemon? Good to see you in the chat. Cyber Gunter hanging out with us. Regulator 951. Caper Grant is in the house. What's happening, Caper? Crispy Rambo. Stitch 669. We got Cindy hanging out with us as well. Lost Forever is here. We got our brother Fastback from the NLG podcast. What's going on, Fastback? Good to see you. Speaking of NLG, Mike, our thoughts are with you, man. Hope that your mom has a speedy recovery and all that good stuff. So, but anyway, hope all is well. We send our thoughts out to you right now. Polly Baba, what's going on, Polly Baba? Good to see you here. Thanks for being here. All right, I think we've caught up with just about everybody, so let's bring in Terri for the Indie Spotlight.
Woohoo.
All right, everybody. I brought in another great indie. This one's been out for a good long while, so this is one that you might have missed out on. I'm hoping to bring it back. So let me go ahead and show you the trailer real quick, and then we'll talk more about it.
Brother, brother, oh brother of mine, I wish you could be erased from all of time, that evil itself could take you away and leave me alone on this very day.
Max will take care of you. And my beast will take care of Max. Felix! Still think your brother will save you?
All right, so Max and the Curse of the Brotherhood. Now, this game is so much fun. Like, I'm not a fan of platformers generally, but this is one of the funnest times I've ever had playing a platformer. It's based off of the Max and the Magic Marker book series. It's a fantastic game. Lots of fun, good puzzles, good storyline. It's only $15. You can get it on PlayStation, your Switch, your PC. You can play it on your iPhone for $5 if you have like a tablet or an iPhone or whatever. Go ahead and you can take advantage of it there. Otherwise, it is on Game Pass. So if you happen to have Game Pass, you can play it right now. It's still on there. So go ahead and grab it. It's like I said, it's a lot of fun. And I recently recommended it to a friend of my husband's because he was looking for some games for his kids to play, and I was like, "Yo, you gotta have them play Max." And his kids absolutely loved it. So if you have kids, have them play it. Otherwise, play yourselves because it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of different things you can do in the game, between making ropes to jump and swing off of. You manipulate water currents to push you and air and stuff. It's really, really good time. And so definitely give it a go. It's a great game.
I said in the chat, that was literally like when the Xbox One came out, and that was a timed exclusive, at least for the first while, that was associated with Xbox and one of their marketing pushes. I was like, damn, I want to play this game. Like, and you see by that video, it still holds up today. Like, it still looks damn good. There was a lot of love put into that game. That was a phenomenal game that deserves way more attention. I don't know why a lot of people just pass it up on it. Maybe again because the whole kitty thing, but I thought the marker aspect was genius. It was just a ton of fun. I totally recommend that one 100%. Terry, another great pick. So go and check that one out, guys.
And again, that one's from Press Play. So like
yeah, they got bought up by somebody, didn't they?
Probably. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of them.
I think they did. Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I think Press Play, I think if I'm correct, they got bought up by somebody. I just forget who it was. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, that game's out on PlayStation, but it didn't come out on various platforms till a couple of years, I think, after the fact. That was literally a timed exclusive, in the truest sense for a long time. So
that's a lot of fun. Yeah, for those of you in the chat saying that your kids are gonna, give it a try. Yeah, trust me, your kids are going to love it. It's such a fun game. So
I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I don't think just your kids. I think you will also enjoy it.
Yeah, it's good music, great little character designs. Really, in like the level design as well was really good. The way that they implemented the crayon and stuff to draw or close gaps and stuff like that. Yeah, it was really cool. So another fantastic pick, Max and the Curse of the Brotherhood. Is that right? Curse of the Brotherhood?
Yep.
Yes.
Curse of the Brotherhood. Yeah, and there's also some really cool slow motion moments in there too that just kind of really get you into it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Almost feels like you're playing a Disney Pixar kind of a deal. Good stuff. All right, let's move it right along. Let's talk about Death Proof. No, what is it? Not Death Proof.
Deathloop.
Deathloop. Talk about Deathloop. Has anybody had a chance to play this game? As we all know, it is a timed exclusive on PlayStation. Obviously now it's made by Arcane Studios, and pretty soon, I guess in another year or so, it'll probably come out on Xbox. Will anybody even care at that point? But obviously it's being published by Xbox Game Studios through Arcane. So here you go. Has anybody tried it? I'm hearing it's getting some pretty rave reviews, but I haven't played it, and I'm not sure who here on the panel. But has anyone had a chance to try it yet?
Sorry, don't have a PlayStation 5.
Nada?
Yeah.
So no from Eternal?
Next year for me.
Next year for
I'm
you?
waiting for it to come to Xbox because it
World
looks like a
shortest topic.
roguelike, and me and roguelikes don't get along very much, so I'm not going to pay for it.
Paul, how about you?
Nope. World's shortest topic. Nope.
Yeah. This one just this is going to be the shortest topic ever on this podcast. I haven't played it either.
Honestly, when they first showed like the announcement for the game, I was like, "Oh, this game looks really cool." But then every time they made a new trailer announcement, I got more and more disinterested in the game. I was like, "Nah." They ruined it. Like I had all the hype, and the more I saw, the more I was like, "Yeah, okay, never mind. I no longer want to play this game. I have no interest."
It does look interesting, and everything I heard said it's interesting, but yeah, I'll have to wait till it comes out on Xbox.
Yeah, this is serious. This is same as that, man. I just wanted to say something, and I'll keep it PG for this show, but I'm going to tell you right now, I am on a death loop every day because of my wife. She wants to kill me every day. She wants to kill me, so I'm on a death loop. I never know when she's going to pull the trigger, and I'm going to be hanging from the ceiling, or I'm going to find myself in a trash compactor. But yeah, man. Go play that game when you get a chance. We're going to need that big bitch, that PlayStation 5. I hope you guys know how to put the screw in the bottom of it, all that good stuff, because that's really important. You got to stand that sucker up. You don't lay it down, but that's what you got to do. Get out there, guys. Play that game, Deathloop. All you guys frauds on this panel, you never played it? You never played it? Come on.
You know, it's it's hard to follow that up. But you know, what's funny is the people that I have talked to, because I watch videos and I'm like, yeah, this is boring. But when you actually play the game, it's apparently very fun. You know, even though the commercials didn't really portray what the game was about. So it's one of those tricky situations that I guess they didn't know how to go about to show you what it's really about. Because when they say they started playing it, they're like, it's nothing like the commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I saw a tweet from Kid Smooth this morning. First tweet I saw waking up, that he was on the last area of Deathloop, about to finish the game, and I guess one of his friends jumped in. I guess one of your friends can be your counterpart.
Yeah.
And killed him right before the end of the game. So now he has to go back and redo it all over. He said, "I'm deleting all my friends from my friends list. I'm blocking everybody. No, going offline." I was like, wow, man. If a game makes you rage like that, it definitely sounds like something. But no, I'm not a fan of roguelikes. And from the commercials, it might not be a roguelike, but that's the way it was presented to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't like that whole repeat and repeat and repeat just to get more power, just to get powerful enough to finally beat a level, or to get the correct RNG to beat a level. I hate that. I hate RNG based
it's
difficulty.
more Groundhog Day than Roguehog, dude. It's more
Yeah, so you play 12 minutes.
It's more like 12 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 12 minutes wasn't a roguelike. That was a puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, but this is kind of the same thing. This is repeating.
You're not.
Time to you.
Yeah. You're not losing your weapons.
It's not a roguelike.
All right. Well,
No.
I may still wait till it comes to Game Pass.
It's just it's just not something that has my attention, and
Yeah.
I'm also not a fan really of Arcane. I've tried some of their games, I just couldn't get into them. They're just not my style. So it's just.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played an Arcane. Who did Prey 2? That wasn't Arcane.
Arcane.
Was it?
Yeah, they did Prey.
Yeah.
I didn't like Prey.
I didn't like that one either.
And
Dishonored was phenomenal.
I tried so hard to get in Dishonored. I played it on 2 separate occasions. I restarted, and I got to the same point. I was like, yeah, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I got bored.
I like Dishonored and Dishonored.
You just didn't come up with creative ways to murder people. And
I'm
Dishonored
bored.
is what I think about
Like, I
too.
don't know. I don't know. Arcane has, they have their fan base. I don't know. I just always find their games boring. I just.
Dishonored, it was good. I haven't played Prey though from Arcane, the new one, the one that's on the moon base or whatever.
Right.
But I think it's in the backlog. Just don't know when.
Hello, Mav in the chat. It says, I didn't like Dishonored. I didn't like Prey, but I love Deathloop. So that's interesting because I tried Prey and I didn't like that one at all. And I never did try Dishonored. So, yeah, you never know. You never know when a studio is going to get you on board with a new concept or a new design. So I'll definitely give Deathloop a shot, when it comes to Game Pass. But even if I still had my PlayStation 5, I wouldn't be running out to burn down the house to go get this game. You know what I mean? So Cindy said you don't like any games that she does.
That's not true, Cindy. Because remember,
Cindy,
what brought us together? What brought us together? Huh? Beyond,
Cindy, we
Beyond
have
Two
all.
Souls. Beyond Two Souls brought us together. So there you go. Prove me wrong.
Cindy, we have all noticed that. All of us.
Yeah.
As Halo.
Especially Halo. The goat.
Especially Halo.
That's right.
I think what brought Axel and Paul together was Beyond Two Holes.
Show.
There you go.
I said this isn't Tuesday. This isn't Tuesday.
At least once a day, I have to remind him what show he's on.
Hey, you can take that in multiple ways. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you could if you wanted.
Nobody's going to take that multiple ways. You know that.
I don't know.
Well, you might take it multiple ways.
Sasha Grey.
Okay, stop. Just stop.
Let's stop. Yeah, let's just roll it back here. Dial it in. Oh crap.
So anyway,
Loop your way back to the beginning of the show to start over.
we got a death loop. This Sasha Juliana
Yeah.
Blake is the name of the character that somebody else comes in and hunts you down, and that's if you leave your game open.
Yeah, that's who it is. I think that adds an interesting element, but I'm just knowing me, I would be so focused over here and get sniped.
I don't think that it would bring you all the way back, because I know Wilmy's been playing and he loves it. It's playing smooth for him. He's talking about you get to a certain spot and then once you do something, you get to keep your weapons. It's not like that other one that PlayStation had, Returnal, where you lose everything.
Right.
It's nothing like that. So, like, and I even saw Fun Speculation even said the same thing. Mav said it's nothing like that. It's not roguelite. It's not that.
Hey, real quick question to Mav in the chat. Do you like Sea of Thieves? Also, Dreadpool, do you know if Wilmy likes Sea of Thieves?
Oh, Wilmy does not like Sea of Thieves.
I find it so odd that people who are like, oh yeah, Juliana can be another character, and it just adds so much anxiety into the game, and you don't know what's going to happen. It's the exact same thing in Sea of Thieves. You're just sailing around, and somebody can come around, screw your entire run up, and you got to start your run over again.
He's killed like 24 of them. None of them have killed him yet.
Oh well, then he hasn't experienced the pain.
Well, considering how long it can be to sail around in Sea of Thieves, like I said, and how long it takes to get some of those treasures and those things, and all of a sudden you get to your destination, go to offload, and then you get blown to bits by a competing ship or whatever, then you're just like, oh
my god, I don't know why I love it.
That's when it gets intense, though, right?
It gives you so much anxiety, like, oh, there's suspense, there's anxiety, there's paranoia everywhere in Sea of Thieves. It's crazy.
I've never experienced any of those emotions playing Sea of Thieves.
You haven't played on my servers.
You got 20 chests on board of that thing.
Me just trying to
There's an achievement for that.
Getting blown up, so yeah, it's just
every now and again my cousin and I will just load up a sloop full of nothing but explosive barrels. Yeah. And we will just on purpose ram into someone and blow them sky high. That's all we'll do for the whole game.
See, you're the kind
of
player
that's all we do the whole time. We're like 5 hours in of just blowing people up.
See, you're the kind of player I would absolutely hate. I would be firing reports left, right, and sideways.
Why? Because I played the game, Paul.
That's not playing the game. That's being a dick, dude.
That's part of the game, unfortunately. It'd be nice to actually, as much as I love that game, it'd be nice if they had something a little bit more on the story-driven. Single, not really single player, but something that you can just co-op and not have to worry about the thieves.
It would be nice if they had a more of a alliance. They call them alliances, alliance-based missions. But it's so funny. There was a galleon terrorizing the entire server one time, and if you know Sea of Thieves, you can have about 6 to 8 boats per server. And so me and like 3 other sloops formed this alliance, and we just went hunting for this galleon and took him out. They can't do anything against an alliance. Yeah. If you have the right alliance, you can definitely defend yourself.
Well, it's like even GTA lets you go into basically a non-combat mode where you can't fight and people can't purposely blow blow you up. It'd be nice if Thieves had that sometimes. If you just want to, because sometimes I would just want to go on there, and I hate it sounds corny, but just go on there and go fishing because I found it very relaxing just to sit there and listen to the music and enjoy the visuals for what they were. And not have to worry about some guy walking up and shooting me or blowing up my boat or being an Axel, based on.
You notice how Axel rhymes with. So anyway,
Hey, tip, wink, wink, everybody! In case you know what kind of sea pirate I am, I'm the Axel.
Yes. So. It'd be kind of cool though if they did, hopefully Rare or Xbox or somebody up there is listening. It'd be kind of cool if they had some sort of clan setup where you can go around, because even with 4, trying to get somebody to be on another ship, if we can get like armadas, you know what I mean? Get enough people in a group, and flying the same flag as an armada going around, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's what Skull and Bones is supposed to do if it ever comes out.
Like when we do community game night, we've talked about but we can't guarantee that all 16 of us will get on the same server. There's no way to make sure that we all get to play together, which is, I understand why they do it from a ganging up standpoint, Axel. But it would be nice to have that option to have like a private server where you and your friends could get together and do
Yeah.
whatever you're going to do.
Agreed, Paul.
Sea of Thieves is it's definitely not for everybody. Like there is so much strategy in Sea of Thieves, especially when you're a smaller boat. My cousin and I are always sloops. We run the 2-man sloop.
Yeah.
And we've sailed directly into exploding volcanoes when bigger ships are following us because one, they have a bigger area, so they're more likely to get hit than us.
Yeah.
We've run in between rocks. We've done so much. We've run over sandbars. There's also sandbars in Sea of Thieves now.
Yeah.
And the smaller boat, if you're going fast enough, will go over a sandbar, which the bigger boat will get stuck.
Yeah.
It's just, there's definitely a strategy. You got to know the ocean if you're going to play Sea of Thieves. You can't go into Sea of Thieves and not memorize the map. I'm sorry. And it's a huge map to memorize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Yeah, we just need a chicken of the sea mode.
Chicken of the sea mode.
So Scrub Nurse is not with us today, and normally around this time we get him to do the Game Pass counter, games that are coming to and leaving Game Pass. So go check it out for yourself if you're not sure what has been added and what is going away. GamePassCounter.com. And guys, don't forget, pretty soon Forza 7 is going to be delisted from the Xbox Store Showcase. So if you haven't got it,
No, it's
maybe
been
pick it up.
it was delisted last week, dude.
Oh, it's already done last week. Okay, yes, I know Paul shared it out a few times to pick it up if you had any intentions, because we don't know exactly when the new one's going to drop. Could be a little ways out. So there you go. Hopefully you managed to snag a copy before they took it down. But anyway, GamePassCounter.com, as I've left up on the screen, go check it out to find out, like I said, what's going or what's leaving your favorite Game Pass service. All righty, let's bring in. We'll bring in Axel to talk about things that are happening with cloud gaming.
Yes. All right. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully this goes a lot smoother than last time. Here we go.
Make it flow.
All right. So they added cloud gaming to the Xbox app. This is my Xbox app. Here's my installed games. So when you first sign in, this is what you see. But you got to click right here where it says cloud gaming. And it takes you right into the cloud gaming site here. You can see all the games I was playing. I played about 4 hours of Halo Wars 2 last night. And the latency is good. A good way to test latency is to play something that requires good reflexes like Hades. I like to test it a lot on Halo and Gears 5, especially the aiming down sights. There is latency, so you gotta...
What's the time for the latency?
Huh?
What's the time for the latency?
I don't know, man. I don't measure. I'm not Digital Foundry.
Hey, but you have the experience, so I know you probably.
All right,
have
so if I compare it to the phone, to the Xbox app on the phone, it's more than the phone. It's more than playing off the website. Ironically, it's better than it was when xCloud first launched. So that is what you're looking at. And so all you got to do to launch a game, and I'm just going to launch, I don't know, let's launch Psychonauts. You click on Psychonauts, it starts loading a little trailer. You can hit play right here. The only emotion I feel during Sea of Thieves is depression. I don't know who said that, but that was hilarious.
That was Mag, of course. That was Mag.
Oh, Mag. Oh, my gosh, Mag. It's okay. It's just a game. You'll be fine. You're not really losing treasure, just so you know. So if I'm just in Psychonauts, if you go into the casino level, there's a area where you have to jump a bunch of heartbeats, and some of those require precision timing on your button presses, and that's where I noticed the latency. Was that I would push my button and my character wouldn't jump right when I wanted him. I had to pre-anticipate it. And it was kind of annoying because you would jump either early or you would jump late. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is running off of the Xbox Series X servers. So I don't know, Noob, can you turn on my camera over here too?
Oh, what? Where?
So we can do.
How can I do that?
Yeah, just.
Oh, well. No, hang on, which. Yeah. Do I need to take this one? Okay.
No. There should be a way to put two, like a double, and then you can select who goes in the double.
Hang on. Oh, no, I'm not seeing it here. No.
There we go.
Well, we're all on there now, so now we can see
Yeah.
him.
Oh.
Okay, and then just drag my face over to where you were.
No.
All right, so
That'll work.
Okay, now drag my face over to where your face is when you do that double one.
Okay. Drag your face over.
Yeah, so do the double one first.
Yeah, it's on the this one.
No. The one that was 2.
This one.
No.
The one where you had your face.
I feel like
the
Goof is
game
trolling
on the
me.
same screen.
This one.
No.
This one.
No.
The game and your face.
It's all right. This
where
one
we
right
had,
there will work. Okay, so I'm just gonna get real close here.
There. That
Okay.
works, yeah.
Okay. So if you can see, I'm gonna push. Where's my buttons here? Oh no. I need them to see the screen so they can see the latency here.
As well.
Okay.
He's trying to let us see the delay. He's trying to let us see the delay.
So if I hit A,
Yeah.
or where? Am I plugged in here? Let me make sure. Oh, I lost connection to Psychonauts. Oh no, I didn't. Hold on. You're sorry. My active screen wasn't my Xbox screen. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. So if I hit A, I mean you can see it, right?
You can see there's a notable delay. Yeah.
It's noticeable, right?
Yep. But we've always said that this is the one place where cloud was going to have an issue. Was going to be with
Definitely. Hold on. Let me. All right, and that's it. I just wanted to show people that
There you
latency. Now the latency is better on the website. And to exit your game, you just click on the 3 buttons up here. You quit the game,
Mhm.
and it just asks you. It just goes out. But okay, I'm done now with that.
Okay. There you go.
All right. So
we're
the
back.
the latency on Psychonauts on the PC is more than it is on the phone. On the exact same Wi-Fi network, exact same location. The phone is still better, the phone app.
Mhm.
And then
You're gonna trigger some PC people saying the mobile works better than their $4,000 gaming rigs. Shame on you.
oh man, I don't know what to tell them. It's true. It's true. You may not like it, but you gotta accept
Had
it.
nothing to do with server quality, man.
No, and then there's a Microsoft server here. There's a server farm here where I live. So I'm not very far. I'm maybe 50 miles away at most. I'm actually thinking closer to 20 miles. And then the latency on the web app, if you go to your browser, is actually less than what I just showed you. It's actually almost flawless going through xbox.com/play.
Right.
So yeah, that's all I got was that
Nice.
Xbox launched streaming natively on their app. It does need some latency work, but as you can see, when you get to those really tight platforming sections,
Right.
you're going to have some noticeable delay.
Absolutely.
And that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. All right. That sounds good. I love seeing Psychonauts too. So there you go. Go check it out, guys. It's an awesome game. And like I said, maybe give it a go on xCloud. And I'm sure things will continue to improve in time.
Definitely.
Big shout out again to the chat. You guys are awesome. Glad you could all hang out with us. Calantis, what's going on, brother? Thanks for being here. Alex is a Val. What's going on? Alex is a Val. We got Dead Metal in here. What's going on? Mario 187. Welcome to the program. Spooky Sprocket still hanging out with us here this morning. We got It's Rudy. What's going on? It's Rudy. Good to see you here. Great crowd already this morning. Thanks for being part of it. The Mag's in the house. Good to see Mag in the chat. Pretty sure he's got to get ready for work or something like that. But
real quick, Mag.
Go ahead, man.
Remember on Tuesday we need to give Joe Dunmore some crap because he hadn't been here this morning, and we noticed that. Okay. So make sure that Tony gives Joe some crap now on Tuesday.
Hey, but we got Tony Grasso here. He's late, but he's in the house. What's going on, Tony Grasso? All right. Our final topic, I guess, for the day is just about superhero games in general, sort of a segue from where we were at in the beginning. And I just want to go around the panel and I want to find out what was your favorite superhero game, perhaps on another console or growing up. Who is your favorite superhero in particular? Like, from all of the universes, and and what ones would you like to see perhaps in the future? Like, is there a game that about a superhero that you would like to see, kind of a deal. So that is our question. So your favorite superhero, and what has been your favorite game, most importantly. And let's you know what, Shaddai has been very, very quiet today. So why don't we bring in Shaddai? Shaddai, why don't you take this one away, man, and have at her. You, like I said, you've been very quiet, so give us a good spiel on your favorite superhero game, past, present, perhaps even future.
I've always been playing Batman, so Batman is my favorite one, especially for the games that Rocksteady made.
Mm.
And the games that I would like to be made, I was thinking, it's funny because at work, we were I was talking to a coworker of mine. We were talking about superheroes and which
Just
game
probably
they
went to
should
go
be.
get it.
Huh?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
And I'm like, which other, now that we're so into the Spider-Man and Batman, what other games should, let's say, Insomnia or Rocksteady should make? But since Rocksteady is so into the DC, I was thinking of Deathstroke. So I would love Rocksteady to make a Deathstroke game, just because I like Deathstroke as in general. Other than if we're talking about Marvel, I like Black Panther. But if he's from DC, I want Deathstroke, just because I could see myself sniping people and doing some pretty much hand-to-hand combat. But for my opinion, is that Deathstroke and Batman always been my favorite for gaming.
Nice. Well said. Well put. There you go. Who wants to take up the next one? We'll just go at random here. Who wants to jump in?
I will.
Go ahead, Cerebral.
I would say part of it is when you're thinking about the hero games, not only do they have to be good heroes that you like, but they have to have a good story to tell. And a lot of times that can go around the villains that are also included, or the stories that can be wrapped around.
That is correct.
So that's when it gets a little bit more finicky. Of course, Batman has been my favorite from the Telltale games to the Arkham games. All of that stuff is so well done. Telltale's amazing, by the way. I wish they would be able to turn out some more stuff. I'm actually still waiting on Wolf Among Us 2, and when I asked one of the devs about that, when he said something on Twitter, he actually responded and said, when it's done, it's done. Like, I'll take that as a positive. We can start working on it, So that was good for me. The other one, I'd love to see a Punisher game.
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot.
Only because, it's a lot like Batman, but it's also, and it would be more mature. I think if they did Punisher right, it would be a more mature game, like Deadpool would, And I don't have a problem with that for me, because I think the character's very engaging. His story is very engaging. Even if they did the whole origin story in game form, it would be amazing, or it could be. So that's where I would go, I would love. I think they've done small Punisher games, but nothing major.
Yeah.
And with what we have now, they could do something major, and it would be amazing.
Yeah.
That might be a game that get me to buy a PlayStation. There you go, people.
What was your favorite all-time superhero game that you played?
I would probably have to say Arkham City.
Arkham City, great pick.
The second one, when they did a little bit more tweaks to it a little bit. But I even started the first one again yesterday. It's also very well, but I think I like City the best.
Okay.
And I've never been able to finish Arkham Knight, so that's where that lays. So because
that's the only one that I haven't.
The Batmobile sessions, I can't do them.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Which suck, because they start hitting early in the game, and I can't get past it. So again, that's a part of a game that I can't do. Which, like I said, I would love to see that entire game, but I don't want to sit there and watch other people play it on YouTube. I want to play it. So
Absolutely.
So if anybody wants to do those parts for me, let me know. I'll give you my information. You can log in, do the driving, and then give me my game back.
Yeah. I mean, driving the Batmobile like in the city part was great. It was those tunnel missions; they were just atrocious. They were. Yeah, I did not enjoy. I mean, I got through them, but my God, like they were. I swore at those so many times.
Well, and the part I get stuck on is where there's like 5 or 6 of these super tanks that you got to get around behind them.
Yeah.
And shoot them, or else they sense you and they come bombarding. I can't do that crap at all. It's like, whatever.
You got to use your angles on that one, try to get around the buildings. But yeah, great picks. Before we get to the rest of the panel and our esteemed guests, Spooky Sprocket comes in hot and heavy once again with another $7.99 in the super chat, and he says, "My favorite superhero is DC's Lucifer. My favorite villain has to be the Joker." Well, that the Joker I definitely could identify with. Lucifer, that's probably an out there pick, I'm sure. So there you go. Who's next? Maybe Batman himself or Coolcat Terri? Who wants to go? Dreadpool, who wants to go?
I'll let Terry go first. I'm very curious.
Oh, I already know Terry's gonna be Catwoman. Anything that is cat related.
She's not even a hero. Sometimes she plays the hero, but she's not a hero.
But she's very sneaky.
Is her favorite female villain from James Bond Pussy Galore?
Her favorite villain is going to be what is it? The Cheetah Girl from Wonder Woman?
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
It's actually Batwoman, but they don't ever do her very well. So it's like
that's true. No female.
They don't do her well.
Yeah.
Whenever, especially the newer stuff, I'm just like, you guys are killing her stuff. But no, I do like Batwoman. She's a really great character, and like I've always been enamored with the whole Batman universe. There's a lot of amazing characters and villains within the Batman universe, so I love it. And it's getting windy over there by Axel right now. I love it.
Yeah.
And up and away.
Yeah, pretty much.
I absolutely love. I'm a huge fan of all the Batman stuff for sure. When it comes to the gamings, though, like, I'm also a fan of Spider-Man. And for me, out of all the video games I've done, the best superhero video game I've ever played was Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I played on the 360. And to me, it was just a phenomenal experience. To me, that game is what encompasses what Spider-Man should be in video games. I'm going to have the very unpopular opinion. I did not like the newer Spider-Man on PS4. There was a lot of gripes I have with that game. And they should go more in that direction of Shattered Dimensions, not what they're doing right now with the new with Spider-Man Now. They're definitely making it too similar to Batman, in my opinion. The newer games have a lot of focus on gadgets and things, and it's just like this. It doesn't feel right to me. And so no, Shattered Dimensions was the peak, I feel, for Spider-Man in gaming, and then they kind of plummeted, in my opinion.
Let me guess, Activision.
But yeah, and then I would like to see them do since HBO, I think it's HBO. HBO has the Titans show, and it's very well done. I would like to see them do a video game for Titans, as long as they don't follow it too close to heart to the show and make it bad, you know. But it'd be interesting to see a Titans game, because we don't have like a Titans game.
Isn't that called Gotham Knights?
No. No, because that's got Batgirl and everybody. No, that's not Titans.
Now, wait, what do you mean if they followed it too close to the show would make it bad? I don't understand, because I love.
Because when you look at video games, whenever they're following movies or shows, they just end up doing really crap quality every time.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, what's funny is Titans doesn't even truly follow the comic book forms of what they're doing. They've made some tweaks and changes to some of the.
They made a lot of tweaks and changes, and some of them the fans are definitely upset about. But you know, that's what I'm saying, though.
Of course they are.
You know, but
that's not the Tim Drake I know. I know it's not.
You know,
it's the Tim Drake for the show.
It's also not the Starfire we know. But you know, that's another story. But it's just Titans as a whole would be great to have as a game. Not necessarily follow the HBO show, but just have Titans. You know, is what I'm saying. Is I would like to have.
And there's some
Titans.
great stories in there too. Especially if you've read the comic books, there's some great stories.
It'd be nice. It's nice because normally up until HBO did Titans, you know, Teen Titans have always been seen as more of like the goofy, you know, the kids who don't know what they're doing, but they're too big for their own britches, but they somehow manage to screw
Yeah.
everything up and still succeed, kind of like Scooby Doo. So it's like
Yeah.
it's nice seeing more of a mature way of doing Titans. So it'd be kind of interesting to have a mature Titans game.
Yep. And my favorite Titan in the show is Gar. I love the way they treat Gar. And I love his reactions sometimes. They're just amazing. He's like, what the hell? You shoot at me. He tries to kill me. What the hell am I doing here? Yeah, I love it. I just, it's so well done. And if they could transfer some of that to a game and make it fun as well as dark, it would be so well done.
And, because I said I'm a fan of Batman and stuff, like I have beanies. Like I have a Batgirl beanie.
Mhm.
I have a Harley
Ooh.
Quinn beanie. Like I do
go.
support
Yeah,
it. I have a Batwoman statue with like
That closet of beanies gotta be really packed.
Yeah. By the way,
Got it.
Axel, why is
Covered.
Batman wearing Robin's cape? I just want to know what the hell is going on with Robin that you're wearing his cape.
This one?
Yeah, it's a yellow cape.
The yellow
That's
cape?
Robin's cape.
No, this is the Six Flags Batman.
That's
Six
that's
Flags
from
Batman.
Adam West.
Cape.
Yo, that's from Adam West.
Yeah.
he just need that bow and say zap.
Yeah. I'll
it
go
has
next,
to
I
actually
guess.
have a label on it because Adam West he had labels for everything, so it has
Pretty
to actually say
much.
Bat Cape or something on it.
Bat cape. Got my bat repellent.
Cape.
Got my batarang right here. No, I guess I'll go next. Obviously, my favorite superhero, if it's not obvious yet, is Batman. I find Batman to be the most interesting character out of all the DC. It's this guy who could have the posh life and not really worry about it, but he's consumed and traumatized so much by his parents' loss at the hands of criminals that he wants to try to prevent it. Ironically, he hasn't prevented anything because I don't know how Gotham even still has a population at this point. But he tries to give them back what they do to others without actually killing them. And that's what I really like about Batman. And he has such a tenacity that it's such a determination and a tenacity. I just absolutely love Batman. He doesn't give up. He's willing to lay his life on the line multiple times. Whoa, look at that. Holy cow. Is that the movie Batman? The Batman Begins?
Yes, this is
It looks
Batman.
like Val Kilmer. Is that
this
Val
is,
Kilmer?
This is Batman. This is Batman from Batman Begins. Hard to see with the glare.
Yeah, I was going to
But
say that looks like
he's
the Batman
massive.
Begins.
Thanks for the
This
cod
is,
shot piece.
This is the one. What do you call it? The 1/4 scale. This thing is probably almost like he must weigh at least like 6 or 7 pounds. Our
Jesus.
fully articulated detail is insane. Christian Bale, love that. For a lot of people, obviously, most people are the comic book fans, but this was the version of Batman that made me like sort of a super Batman fan. Christopher Nolan's Batman universe, man, unbelievable.
Yep.
Just those are my 3 favorite movies of all time, and I can't link one without the other. But man, yeah, and this is my favorite collectible. This thing was quite expensive, so. You have to see it to kind of, to see how well made it is from NECA, but it's just amazing. Yeah.
Whoa. That's awesome.
Yeah. If you want really good collectibles, you got to spend some money, but get it from, what do you call it? Sideshow. They make absolutely insane stuff.
He should die over there with his Joker pop, it looks like. No, it's a Batman pop.
Correct. The white one.
The white one. That is not the Knight, and everybody knows that Batman is the Knight.
Yeah,
No, Batman
Here I am, Batman. Which is kind of anti-Batman, but yeah.
Batman is, to me, he's not he's such a planner, and he dedicates his resources to take on metahumans all the time, or metas when he's not a meta himself. And I don't know, I just relate to that a lot more than anybody, because when I was a kid, I could actually see myself becoming Batman if I was a billionaire. Unlike the, 100,000 billionaires in the United States that have all decided to be lazy and none of them turned into Batman.
Try Bill Gates. Where you at, Bill Gates? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of lazy losers. Anyways. So yeah, that's Batman is by far my favorite hero. But my favorite games, oh man, I have so many superhero games that I've liked over the years. On the Sega Genesis, there was this one called Captain America and the Avengers. It was a beat 'em up. I don't know if anybody remembers that one.
Mhm.
It was a side-scrolling beat 'em up. Beat 'em ups were all the rage in the 90s. And you could pick, I think it was Vision, Iron Man. As you can see right here, my wife has brought me the
Isn't that the Arkham Knight?
Arkham City.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Nice.
No. Sorry, no,
Arkham-
you're right. This is the Arkham Knight one.
Arkham City, I have
And
that one.
this
yeah.
one is
That's
the
awesome.
Arkham City Batman right here.
Yo, it's like I'm in a TV show while your girl is giving you that. You're the one who's actually displaying. Yup, it's backward.
Yes. I played the PS2 Spider-Man. That was based off of a movie, and it's probably the best movie-based. When Ford gets rich, he's planning to become Fat Man. Poor Ford Gaming. Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Oh man,
These are just a
His-
bunch of little things I've collected
Yep.
over the years.
His secret headquarters is going to be a dumpster, but which dumpster?
I have like a Batman shrine in my, just this one. These actually came from the Justice League movie. These were only sold
Yeah, I
in the
like
theaters.
I like that. I like that set.
So you could,
That's cool.
and I actually brought these all the way home from Indonesia because I could not get them here in the US. They sold out rather quick, but they were still available overseas. So got them there.
Wait, did you glue them?
No, they link together.
No, because you kind of turn it upside down. And I'm like, oh, yep. See, that's what
No,
I'm saying.
they don't come off.
Oh, okay. I thought you glued them.
No,
Yeah.
each person is in their little circle. That's
I
Yeah,
see.
sorry.
Yeah.
Where was I? Yeah, the Spider-Man game on the PS2, Spider-Man 2, is probably the best game based on a movie ever made. And I know Insomniac based some of their work on their new Spider-Man on that Spider-Man. But hands down, the greatest game ever made, obviously, is Batman Arkham City. It took everything that Batman Arkham did and cranked it up to 11.
Yeah.
It was so much bigger. It was so much better. And then that Mr. Freeze boss fight. I mean,
Yeah.
that is probably the best superhero boss fight I've ever
That's
had.
true. That's
He was better than fighting the Joker. I don't care what anybody
even
says.
the voiceover was really good. The voiceover.
Yeah.
God.
The fact that you could hit him twice, 2 times in a row, or even the same way twice, it made you think. It made you actually puzzle solve a boss fight. I mean, who thought you needed to puzzle solve a boss fight that was that intense?
Rocksteady.
Yeah, Rocksteady. That's right.
And the nice thing about the way they did that is they gave you enough time to actually look around the room
Yep.
and see what your different tools were. It wasn't rush. It was, you had to actually think things.
Kind
out.
of comes
They
at
gave
you at the
time to think
Terminator
things
pace.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was so awesome too because when Batman's up on the gargoyles, he's nobody
was
can see
iconic.
him and he can
Yep.
move around.
Yeah.
And the reason I just real quick, I consider Spider-Man PS4, the Insomniac game, to just be daytime Batman. It's the same combat mechanic. It's the same gadget mechanic. It's even the same up high stalking mechanic. That
No, for
Arkham
some
had.
people, it's different because you're using webs, so it's not
Hey.
Batman.
And that's cool.
I've
That's
gotten
cool.
in so many arguments about it. Like
Yeah,
there
that's the
are
reason why I
people
brought it up.
that will go to their grave saying that the Spider-Man game is nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, Spooky Sprocket says, again, unpopular opinion, but Ben Affleck is my second favorite Batman. I do like Batflick as well, especially
Nah,
when
not
on the remake of Justice League that Snyder made, I felt he was a much better Batman there.
How come no one likes George Clooney?
Hey, Val Kilmer.
Nipples. Let me just say nipples. Nipples. Like George Clooney.
I'm just saying, like whenever you hear
Clooney
people
and
talk about it,
Kilmer. We wish we could just
you hear
forget those
anybody
from
be like,
history.
"Yeah, George Clooney."
Ooh.
No, to me, Batman was always Michael Keaton until
Yeah.
oh god, I already forgot his name. What's his name, Noof? Your favorite one?
Batman Forever.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Bale,
Until
yeah.
Christian Bale came around. Christian Bale, I think, really embodied Bruce Wayne in a way nobody else had.
Yeah.
Right.
He wasn't just about the mask; he was also about being Bruce Wayne, and I believe he captured it in a way nobody did.
It's the
But yeah,
same thing with the
favorite-
Joker.
Favorite Batman
Well,
game is by far
and,
Arkham City because it had some of the better boss fights. Everything was huge, puzzles galore. If you got DLC, you could replay the game as different characters, as Catwoman, as Robin, all kinds of stuff. And the ending was classic Batman.
The
It was just
Nightwing
classic
character,
Batman.
The Nightwing DLC in that game, playing as Nightwing was really cool. They did a good job with Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
They had Harley's Revenge DLC, story DLC.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was also awesome. I mean, it was the total package of a superhero game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Gotta say, to go with Spooky Sprocket, one of my favorite parts from that Justice League, obviously, is from the Snyder cut during the dream sequence toward the end.
Yes.
When he looks at the Joker and he says, I'm gonna fucking, I'm sorry, I'm saying that. I'm gonna, effing kill you.
Yeah. And make no mistake, I will effing kill you.
I will effing kill. I love that. Right? Serious. That was great because you don't often, hear Batman like that, right? Like those are things and you're like, oh, it kind of catches you off guard. That sort of thing.
Yeah, he's like he never killed, but he let everybody fall out.
Yeah. Noob, if you haven't watched Titans yet, if you want to hear little Robin drop the F-bomb a bunch, hey, watch Titans on HBO Max.
All right. We'll take your word for it.
Because he wasn't asthmatic by the time he got time.
My favorite part also on that Snyder cut when you say it, when he's like, I'm gonna effing kill you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The Joker's all like, you almost got me, because he knew he wouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
But he's like,
I mean, if you know Batman.
But he's almost trembling for a second. You see the Joker just kind of stops and he's just like, oh, I think Batman's finally serious here.
Yeah. You almost got me.
Yeah, you almost got me. Oh, crap.
Love it.
And one of my favorite lines from is from, I think it's from The Dark Knight, and I'll try to do my best impression as I can here, is when the imitating Batmans are trying to fight people in the parking garage. And the hockey Batmans, and then he looks at Batman and he says, well, what's the difference between you and me? And Batman looks at him and goes, I'm not the one wearing hockey pads.
Oh my God, that was so accurate. It was crazy.
I know, right?
That's a really good impression.
Rachel, hang on.
He got a lot of impressions right now. So that means you could create his voice with Arnold being the Mr. Freeze right now. See? Oh
yeah, you should definitely do the Arnold. Everybody freeze, and then when George Clooney comes in, like, "Hi, Mr. Freeze, I'm Batman." Do it with your voices. Let's hear.
Everybody freeze. I'm Batman.
This is crazy.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go on with your session.
Where is she? Yeah. Swear to me. All right.
That's also a good line, Cookie Sprocket.
Yeah, my favorite Batman movie line. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Keaton and Nicholson. Yeah, I like that one too. That's great. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Yeah, he kind of freaks out. He's got the little iron in his hand. Yeah. Great movies. Yeah, part of those Joel Schumacher ones, and someone said it was almost like this studio was forcing them to make movies to sell like the toy lines kind of deal, because they just felt like they were so PG, watered down, weird little. I don't know. Some people loved them, but I personally couldn't stand them. All right, so who hasn't had a chance to go on their superhero yet? Dreadpool?
Me.
Not Deadpool. Oh, I mean,
go ahead, Dreadpool. Maybe his superhero is Deadpool. I don't know.
Well, ironically, it is Deadpool. So I can't wait for them to make another game. I actually bought it both on the PlayStation and the Xbox. So yeah, I double dipped for Deadpool. Now, the best video game I've ever played when it comes to superheroes, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's way back on the Genesis, the X-Men. It was the first one, okay, and this is a spoiler alert for y'all that haven't played it yet. You must go back and play it. You have to. I don't care if you emulate it, whatever, but do it right. Play the game. It's the first one that actually got to the point where it asked you to reset the computer and it broke the fourth wall. That was a mind blowing to me. That's it.
I
mean, what?
Yeah, we were
That's it.
Okay.
There's not much
Yeah,
more
we
to
were
talk
into
about.
suspense
It
in
cuts
here.
off. So that's your favorite superhero game, then, sort of all time kind of thing, or just most
Yeah.
memorable?
That's the most memorable. It's the favorite one because, like I said, when it broke the fourth wall, and it I had to play it twice because I lost because I didn't do what I had to do, and then I had to pause it, and I guess I should have gone with this too. Further explained why I had to pause it and look at my brother. And I'm like, I've beaten this, already, but now I'm here, but I'm losing because I haven't, figured this part out. And I'm like, this
Like
is the only thing that
always.
makes sense.
This one right here.
There goes Axel.
Yep, that's the one.
Nice.
So yeah, it was like I said, that's the only video game for me that truly broke the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know what I'm talking about, you understand.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you got to play it.
It's the Deadpool stuff, which explains why you like Deadpool so much. He always breaks
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that one.
He's
Nice
done
shiny
that in
case,
comics. He's done that, obviously in the movies. But I mean, Ryan Reynolds has always been Deadpool ever since I seen him in.
Are you sure about that? Because he did Green Lantern.
No. He was
We don't
Deadpool
talk
before
about
that.
that.
He
We
was
don't talk
Deadpool
about
before
that.
that. He was Deadpool way
That's right,
back
he
in
was.
Blade.
Well, he actually dead in the pool doing Green Lantern. So
Well, when he was in Blade, I
Mhm.
looked at him and I said, "That's Deadpool right there." His character that he played in Blade, that's Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sure enough, there we are.
Yeah, and then he did Deadpool in X-Men Wolverine Origins. Remember the sewed up
Unfortunately.
mouth?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
liked about the last one, where he went back and fixed everything.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah,
After the
he even
credits.
got the little toy of him in the movie. That was hilarious.
My favorite part about Deadpool is the chimichanga lines. I don't know why. Every time he uses the chimichangas lines, they just get me.
I kind of wish they'd go back to and they kind of did with the game, but I wish they would go back to the original comic when it actually had a series. Weasel actually was a tech guy, and he made the belt that would allow him to transform and look with a holographic image over him, look like any other character. And he would walk past, and every comic still, he was like an old lady. He was a fat old dude. He was like a kid. And it was just him walking along, talking with somebody, and every still, he was a different person because of that belt. And it's like, it sucks that they did away with it. And that would have been really cool to see that in the game too. You got to almost like Watchdog Legions. You could be somebody else in that effect of, who you want to play as.
Right.
But, use that to get in. And once you're discovered, you just straight up Deadpool and you straight up murk everybody.
Mm-hmm. So Dreadpool, if you could have a superhero game come out, which character would you like to see? Which superhero game would you like to see him get made?
Me. I mean, Deadpool.
Oh, I thought you said Peacekeeper.
Yeah, so a really good game. Who do you think would probably make something like that, or who do you think would probably do a great job with a game like that? Obviously, that one that Activision published was decent, but didn't come out to.
Yeah, it was decent, but it did have the mentality in there, which was good.
Yeah.
Whoever it's going to have some sort of comedic stance in there too, right? So it's unfortunately, Rocksteady Games, Insomniac, they're the ones that make that type of game really good. Hopefully, they can put more comedy into it and more, his nuances. So either one of those two, I could see doing it. And it has to be a third person. It can't be a first person. Yeah. It's got to be one of those things. If they did a 3/4 over the top view, I think that would be too far back. Not enough.
About, like Marvel versus Capcom type.
No,
it is. I mean,
like Marvel Alliance.
Yeah, that one. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fighting.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he was in fighting too, though. But yeah, something like that, where it'd be more of a, like I said, Batman or Spider-Man style, like the style that they used for this one. I'm fine with. It's just be nice to have a little bit better control, camera control. It felt like they could have done more. They did enough and kind of went with that. But I mean, there were some levels that was like, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And funny enough, the guy that voiced Deadpool in the game is the same one that voices Ron Stoppable, which is the same guy. Not Corey Matthews, his brother from Boy Meets World, the older brother. That's the voice.
Right.
Yeah. The one with the long hair?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I know I can see him, but I don't know what his name is.
isn't it started with an A, something like that?
Don't remember. I'm not even looking it up.
The nice thing is, if they did it third person, he could still play tongue in cheek to the camera, the character,
Right?
like the real Deadpool would, you know?
Right, and he literally does in the last game.
Yeah.
So, you know,
We're talking about Eric Matthews, right?
Yes, Eric.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Will Friedel?
Something.
Yep.
Will Friedel. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Now we've
Yeah,
got
that's
Noob
him.
playing
Oh
with
my
his
God, he
dolls.
got old.
Noob-
Where does the time go?
That's how big he is, man.
If I recall, he also did the Deadpool in the Spider-Man, one of the latest Spider-Man series on TV.
Is that real cloth?
Wow.
Real cloth cape, yeah.
God, geez.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's got everything. He's even got the little sonar that goes in the bottom of the boots and everything. Like, he's got all the accessories from the original movie.
You're
Nice.
going to show us his bad butt cheeks like they did the close up in the movie.
Well, he already showed us the cod piece when he was in the box.
That's right.
What is it with you and butts, Paul? I mean, come on.
Oh, don't be an Axel.
That wasn't a request.
Yeah.
That was a comment, not a request.
All right, so if I'm the last one to go here before we close out this show, look, I'm going to say when it comes to the video game adaptations, the first one I think I really remember and that I really enjoyed was back on the Genesis, and it was The Amazing Spider-Man. It's actually, I don't know who the developer was at the time, but it was obviously published by Sega. I remember like how cool the graphics were and the swinging mechanics and fighting the Kingpin and all that stuff. And I really enjoyed that game. And the next one after that, you know, really stood out to me was, and it was a very hard game to get at the time. It was Batman, the movie game, the Michael Keaton based movie game. It was on the Genesis and, it came out and was published by Sunsoft. Remember those guys? And a lot of people seem to have missed that one. As I said, it was a harder game to get because of some kind of licensing stuff or whatever. But that was a really good game. I remember you could actually drive the Batmobile, and that was sort of like I think it was a top-down view at the time. But it was really cool. Really loved that game. Growing up as a kid, my favorite superhero was Spider-Man. But as I got older, and especially with the Christian Bale adaptation of Batman, I became a massive Batman fan. Maybe not the truest sense of the fan in the word, you go back to the detective comics and all that stuff, but it was the portrayal of the way Batman was done in these films that really took me, because I love the realism aspect. I love how they brought him. He made you feel like he was actually somebody that you could potentially be. You know what I mean? Like, they gave him, like, you know, you saw the origin of it, how he went overseas and he trained in Batman Begins and stuff like that. And you realize, like, he isn't just a regular human guy. You know, he doesn't have superpowers, which is what makes him identifiable. He's just rich. You know, even Ben Affleck says it best in Justice League when the guy says, well, when the Flash looks at him in the car and says, like, what's your superhero, or what's your superpower? I'm rich. You know, he's rich. That's right. He can afford the best gadgets and, of course, all that sort of stuff. So really, you know, like that portrayal of Batman. So I'm a huge Batman fan. I love anything to do with the the Dark Knight trilogy, that sort of stuff, all the merchandise and stuff. Best game I think though I've ever played, I'm going to have to say it's a really tough call. It will come down to the Batman series. I'd like to say the last one in terms of the Arkham Knight, because it did everything that Arkham Asylum and Arkham City did, only better. The combat was better. The graphics were amazing. The city was actually more lifelike and open out. But again, as Paul alluded to, the Batmobile, while it was kind of a highlight was also a low light, because when you did get it and you're on the streets and you're driving around, it felt amazing. Then you got those stupid Riddler ones, and then it kind of lost you a little bit. And then they kind of overdid it. It went from everybody in the first two games saying, well, we need the Batmobile. It's almost like they made the Batmobile like too much in that game. It was a lot of missions focused on that side of it, that sort of thing. So but overall for me, I'm just gonna give that one little edge to the first one, Arkham Asylum. And the reason I say Arkham Asylum, because that was the game that really took us by storm. That was the game that came out where people said, wow, there is a studio that can actually make a damn good superhero game. And I feel like a lot of superhero games since then, and probably following it, always borrowing from the Rocksteady mold and model. The character designs, bringing back, of course, the cartoon voices. I mean, with Kevin Conroy doing Batman, so iconic. And then you got Mark Hamill as the Joker. And those Unreal Engine graphics, going from Gears to bringing it into something like this, was just amazing. They were the first time I think somebody did justice to Unreal in a way that, you know, the Gears of War series kind of did. But then you see it in here and you're like, wow, it looks so good, you know. And I like the fact that it was a little bit more linear, because you're not just wandering around doing missions that feel just sometimes like they're kind of pointless. It's kind of like everything made sense, and it kept you in a structure. So I would say that one. And as far as a new game coming out that I would love to see, I got to say Superman, because I feel he deserves a great game. And I know Superman is probably one of the more one-dimensional, boring superheroes, because he doesn't have, he's almost the perfect in a sense, right?
You and I could do a whole show on this. You realize?
Yeah, totally. But I feel if you play up the Clark
Scout.
Kent side of things, you play up the torment between being a good guy or a bad guy, and being given the player that kind of control. Do you want to be, again, like you've sort of seen this in the movies, and that's the reason Batman and when he did Batman versus Superman, the Batman didn't trust him, because he knew he had so much power. He could easily be a bad guy as a good guy. He could turn on people and there would be nobody to stop him, right? So I think you have that moral dilemma. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be bad? If you have the right villains. People say you can't do a good Superman game, and I call bullshit. If that's the case, well, there should be no Superman comics or superhero movies, right? Am I correct?
But
you can't tell me there's been no good Superman material.
It goes back to what I said. It would depend on the villain and the story being told.
Exactly.
But because he's so one-dimensional, that's harder to pull off in an engaging way. You know, because in our heads, Superman is always, like Batman calls him, the Boy Scout. He's always the Boy Scout. You know. Now, if you watch Superman and Lois on the WB or whatever it is where it actually airs, they covered that this last season very well. That could translate well, where he kind of. But I'm not going to get into spoilers there.
Yeah, but you could have something where, like, Superman doesn't necessarily. We don't have to say Superman doesn't necessarily have to have a story based around Earth either. Perhaps Superman goes to another planet. He has to help another planet in distress, which are being overrun by, again, a gauntlet of superheroes or I guess super villains that are kind of like himself.
Or like that trade paperback that I linked to you in the chat last week.
Yes.
Superman versus Aliens. If you've never read that story, read that story. It touches on everything you're talking about. Yeah. And it would make a good story to be done. But
I really wanted a small
on his
game.
face, Superman is hard to deal with because of the fact that he's never going to kill. He's never going to, he's always going to make the right decision.
And then to make Shaddai happy, you could have Green Lantern cameo.
There's ways to do it, and I think just the flying mechanic alone.
Right now, I would.
Right?
I'd be high-fiving Terry right now.
Again, there's ways to do it. I think the whole flying mechanic alone could be massively fun if done right. The sense of speed and scale, and of course, if there was any sort of destruction that could be done well, that could be fun in itself. Maybe do a flying ground and pound and watch him literally crack the pavement wide open. Those sorts of things, that'd just be like, wow, that's so cool. And with today's tech, I definitely think you could do it. as I said, the game Anthem, if there's one thing Anthem did freaking right, it was like I said, people say like, man, that could have been an Iron Man game and people would have been super happy because it kind of nailed that flying mechanic, that mech sort of feel. And I think they're totally right. But yeah, I think there's ways to do it. And on a lesser known scale, you know, I think a Judge Dredd game would be really cool. You know, I like that character a lot. And I think you could do a really good third person game, but I also think you could do a massively awesome first person game with Judge Dredd. You know, I am the law.
If they do Judge Dredd, I wanted to make let Sylvester Stallone voice him for the game. I
Yeah.
am the law. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
I knew you'd say that.
Love that Carl Urban movie from a few years ago. The Carl Urban version, I thought was freaking awesome.
Oh, I thought that movie was
That was a
very well
good
done.
version.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Carl
So
Urban
great.
surprised the hell out of me. Like I had no expectations, but he blew it away. I loved it. Great stuff
And when
there.
they had him trapped in the housing tenement and they had to fight all those people,
Yeah.
that alone would make a great video game sequence.
Yes,
Exactly.
that whole it was just called Dread, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dredd. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the fact that it focused on a single location to introduce you to characters and lore, I think that's the best way to do it. Judge Dredd with Stallone went to so many locations and so many places with so many characters.
Hmm.
It
And
just
they took the
couldn't
mask
focus.
off.
Yeah,
Never
and he
took
had the
mask
mask and he took his helmet off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of drives me nuts too. Like in the comics, and a character has their mask on most of the time, and these movies seem to be freaking insistent on them always taking it off constantly. Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the actors going, but it's itchy?
Does he need to see my? I
No.
think
It's
somebody
looking
from one of the.
The cost to have those actors and them not show their face.
Well, Carl Urban did
There's
it.
that, and
Yeah.
I heard a movie studio years ago. They said the problem too with the fully masked characters is it's harder to convey the expression, like to kind of get that feeling back because you can't see behind a steel helmet or whatever they might be wearing. Do you know what I mean? Like Batman is a little different because you see his eyes and you get to see the mouth a bit more. But some characters are fully concealed, and
But
you
that's
can't
where,
really
that's
get
where
it.
good voice acting
A
comes in.
true-
That's where good voice acting comes in. Yeah.
A true actor will not be blocked by that.
Look at Mandalorian. Look at
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
I was just thinking about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We didn't see his face until like second
Yeah.
season deep.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Dreadpool worked in those movies because they CGI the eyes in to give you a sense of expression too. So,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I
But,
like how you said that. Yeah.
I mean, body language speaks a lot into it too. When you can't do it through facial expressions, you can do it through body language. People have body language.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. There's ways around it, but yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
awesome.
So,
Go ahead.
can I backtrack on your
Yeah,
Superman thing?
go right in, man.
You brought up Anthem, right? We all said that.
Mhm.
You know who before Anthem actually had a good superhero flying games is Disney Infinity. All those
Oh, yeah.
figures. Thor
Mhm.
flew great. Yeah, Iron Man flew great. So the mechanics are there.
Yeah.
So you could do it. It doesn't matter. I mean, anybody that was capable of flying in those
Mhm.
games were flying. And then, like you said, with Anthem, they just took it another step in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
So flying for Superman should be no issue.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the storyline, and it's gonna. And I think part of that would be the issue was look at was it Avengers with Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
You're beating up like a couple dudes, and they take you out. Come on now, it's Hulk. It's you're talking about the most angriest character in Marvel, and it's taken out by a couple NPCs. You know what I mean? And
That's
and
a
it's the
lost
same
thing,
thing. It's the same thing they do with Superman. They gave him unrealistic abilities and don't use them. You know what I mean? And they nerf Superman, and it's like, well, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think Smallville. Speaking on Superman, Smallville introduced Superman very well. He was fast and he was strong, but all of his other abilities came as he went through puberty more, if you will. Right, his heat vision, his his frost breath, things of that nature, all came to him later. And I think a
Good
game
God,
that would focus on Superman growing up like that would be awesome.
Seriously, I wish we were on Tuesday night. There's so much I could say to that.
Yeah.
Things I've thought ever since I first saw Smallville, but I can't talk about it here.
Yeah, it'd be like the Spider-Man scene, only with holes in the wall.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then Smallville capped it off with Superman finally flying, even though you didn't see it, which I felt ripped off. That was a terrible ending. But
that was because of what's his name's agreement to do the part. No fights, no tights.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Welling. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to do the tights thing at all.
Lame. But no, I think that's the way it should cap off. Like, maybe do a Superman game where you learn your powers as you progress through the game, and then at the very end, introduce the flying. Give you that freedom of flight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you really want to go old school, at first he didn't fly. He literally leapt over whole buildings and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Where you level them up a little bit in the first part, where you're figuring some of these missions are more like figuring out what you can or cannot do, kind of deal, and then you grow into it. And obviously Lex Luthor, very smart, very intellectual villain as well. That could be, if they're properly done, that could play into it. How he obviously does things with the kryptonite. So there's ways around it.
They could actually bring it up through Superman's history, starting with leaping and running fast, and graduate from there.
Yeah.
I still
first
think
couple of levels,
Smallville
you're trying to
was
outrun
the
the
best.
train, but you don't realize you're not fast enough, and the train hits you. And crap!
Oh my God, that was great.
That'd be awesome. All right. Well, I think that brings us pretty much to the end of the show. We are over the 2-hour mark. This has been another dynamite episode of Good Morning Xbox. We definitely miss Scrub Nurse being here, and I think nobody else had another segment today. Is it correct?
No.
Or okay,
No.
I think and we still don't have any more profiles yet, I do believe. So we'll leave that for another day. But we still got a couple more people to go on the community spotlights. There is no rush, but when they have them ready, they will. That is good. Big shout out again to the chat. Have been absolutely dynamite here today, guys. We can't say enough about you getting up early on a Sunday morning, hanging out through the entire show. Our guest today was absolutely dynamite. As I said, he was my second person that I think I featured on the community spotlight, and it's an honor and a pleasure to have him here today. Glad he could fill in sort of on a bit of a short notice, but Dread is good for those things, and he always brings a lot of wealth of knowledge, great articulation, and on all that stuff. So without any further ado, we're going to let everybody get out of here and get back to enjoying their Sundays, go back to playing some games, and let's start with our esteemed guest, Dreadpool. Where can people find you? I know you keep busy on a variety of different podcasts.
Yes. First of all, thank you to everybody in the chat. Thanks, Noof, for inviting me. It was a pleasure with hanging out with Coolcat Terri, Eternal Shaddai. I'm not so much sure about that one, but Cerebral Paul and his hair and the Axel. We'll leave it at that. That Axel dude.
Love the cape. That was it.
Yeah, the cape was awesome. I love the part where she flipped it over your face.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That's the prettiest he's looked all day.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was easier
Wow.
it was easier to stomach looking at the screen. I don't know. I'm sorry.
And there you
That's
go.
all
There's
love.
the links up
So,
on the screen.
Yeah, you could find me everywhere. Just as you see, Twitter, Dreadpool. The O's are actually zeros on in the word. Anchor FM. It's where I do Breaking Bread with Dread, and then YouTube and Linktree has all the links for everything in case you're curious. So again, thank you very much, and it was a great day. So you all have a happy Sunday and enjoy next week.
Absolutely.
See what happens.
Well, thanks for being here, Dread. Good to have you, and we'll have
Thank
you
you.
back here in the near future. Definitely want to get you in for some of the big episodes when the big topics drop, and guaranteed if Microsoft does do anything big, we'd definitely love to have you back on to give us your take on what goes down.
Yeah.
All right, next up, go ahead.
I guess I should say what podcast I'm on. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shoot. Gaming Beyond the Box, Wednesday nights at 8, and then Friday mornings with Boom, Breakfast with Boom at 10 a.m. Eastern. Everything's Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry. Thank you.
And speaking of Wilmy Hood, he was in the chat earlier, so good to see went by to say hello. He had to get back to work, but good to have you here, Wilmy. HDK is in the chat. What's going on, HDK? Good to see you as well. Some of our brothers from the original Next Level Gaming podcast, which you guys can check out on Thursday evenings. All right, so next up we have that man with the dashing grays. It is Cerebral Paul. Cerebral, you have become one of the busiest guys in the podcast scene over the past couple of months. Let people know what's up and where they can check you out. I'll put the link at least to your Twitter in the chat.
Yeah, the best place to find me is on Twitter because everything goes out from there. Like my next show will be with the retro gaming guys on Tuesday night, so that'd be the next place to find me because I'm on a show on Tuesday. I'm on a show on Wednesday. I'm on a show on Thursday, Friday and Saturday I do community game night, and then Sunday I do this. So yeah, so just best place to go is find me on Twitter, Cerebral Paul 1, and then from there the links can be found. I've been told my sign-off's getting too long because I do too many shows, so I'm just trying to make it easier.
Yeah, most times get them on Twitter. Most of us have our links posted there. So Next up, we will get over to the Eternal Shaddai, the man with the blinking prison cell. There you go. Go ahead, Shaddai. Let people know where they can check you out, brother.
No problem. Sorry, Dreadpool, if you feel some type of way about me like that. But
I don't know. You keep talking about that green dude that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know that is true. No, you can find me on Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. The same thing for the Xbox console. Also, I'll be streaming on Twitch. I almost said Mixer. I don't know why. But also, I'll be doing podcasting on Saturday in Spanish called Mundo de Mancos. And also pretty soon I'll be doing another podcasting with the ladies at Grown Woman Gaming with Boogie and Lady Infamous. She invited me not too long ago. That should be in October. And sorry that I wasn't very active today. It has been pretty much long, after last weekend. A lot of things happened. But glad to be back. And welcome, Dreadpool. Welcome.
Good to have you back, man. That's good to have you back. All right. Yes, indeed. All right, let's get down to the man with the fantastic Batman shirt. Batman himself. Where can we find you, Mr. Batman?
Hey, all right. Once again, chat, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dreadpool, awesome to have you. I always say we should podcast together more often.
Yeah.
You can find me on Xbox. You can find me on YouTube and on Twitter and on Twitch. Sorry, on Start over. I don't know why my mind is all over the place right now. You can find me on YouTube and on Twitch at Axel1324 Gaming, all one word. You can find me on Twitter and Xbox at just regular Axel1324.
What an Axel.
Yeah, and you can find him on Sea of Thieves. Just look for the Axel. Yeah,
that's right. And if you're on Sea of Thieves, well, you better not hope you don't have any treasure on your boat because either way, I'm sinking you. It's just the way it goes.
If you see a sloop loaded with TNT barrels, it might be Axel.
That's right.
All right, now let's get down to this fabulous young lady we know as the Coolcat Terri, always with the great indie spotlights, and another great one this week. But where can people check what you got going on, Terri?
All right, you can all catch me on Twitter at Coolcat_Terri. I usually have plenty of indie game stuff on there, so you can always check out some content, find out about the different games that are coming out and that are being made currently. Some good stuff there. I also have my own podcast called Just a Glimpse, where I share a lot of unpopular opinions about games, music, and the like. So go ahead and you can check that out. It's on Spotify, Apple, and Google, and Amazon, all the places. Give it a listen. And then my Instagram, my Xbox, and my Twitch are all the same thing. Coolcat Terri, one word. You can go ahead and you can catch me over there. I stream during the week, usually 6 to midnight Eastern, and I play a good variety of different things. And then my Fridays right now are all jumbled up. So now I start at 7 because I'm doing Fright Nights until Halloween. So I'm playing right now. I've been playing through Dead Space. And I don't understand why people say it's a horror game. I don't know.
I know. Exactly. I read your Twitter, and I'm like, what?
It's not.
I've just been like, I've been so bored. Every now and then I'm like, oh, they're gonna come from there. That game is so predictable. I don't know how anybody could get scared in that game. You know,
Probably because
but
of the audio. Because when you
Double
play-
high five. Double high five.
you know, it's just I don't know. I'm not getting the appeal for it because like this, there's like a cult following when it comes to Dead Space. Everyone's like, you have to play Dead Space. It's the best thing ever. And now I'm playing it. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just passed out.
Play fear.
You know,
Yeah,
so I
absolutely.
hopefully the new one will be a lot more scary because the original isn't doing it. It isn't doing it. So yeah, go ahead and you can check all that stuff out. And sometimes I stream on Saturdays as well when I'm feeling like I want to do it. Usually by then I'm burnt out from the week, so I'm like, me,
Yeah, I
whatever.
hear ya.
But yeah, but it's good stuff. So yeah, check all that stuff out and all the good fun.
And with me, you can always find me in the gutter. Of course, when I'm not here with these fantastic people. And again, shout out to Scrubners. He couldn't be here today, but I'm sure he'll be back again with us next week. But you can find Scrubs, obviously, on this podcast and on Wednesday nights now, as he just became a member recently of Gaming Beyond the Box. So it's good to see him over there as well. But you can find me pretty much everywhere in the gutter. It's Noof Nukem on just about everything, especially the YouTube channel. I think most of you know that by now. You can find me on Twitter, all that stuff, Xbox, and we'll see you back here in Gaming After Dark Tuesday nights at 10 Eastern on my YouTube channel, same place you find this one. And don't forget as well that community game nights, Cerebral Paul and Denitra doing a great job filling in my absence. I've been away a lot the last couple of weeks, and trust me, I do not enjoy it. I miss everybody. I miss the camaraderie, I miss the gaming, and I will be back hopefully this Saturday if all goes well. Just weekends have gotten really, really busy, and duty calls, life calls, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So yeah, it's good to be there. But that's it for us today. This is another Dynamite show. Again, thanks to our guest Dreadpool, again to the panel and our amazing chat. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for hanging out with us.
1 second.
Make sure that go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I also want to give a shout out to the individual that gives us a thumbs down every week. Because now I know that you keep coming back. So the moment that thumbs down disappears, then I know we lost you. So, keep coming back.
Yeah, we had that one person in the chat again coming in with the corporate slaving stuff.
Gaming
But
Beyond the Box. That's the Silverbird salute.
That's what
Yeah.
we do. Silverbird salute.
yeah. If we're running too long, we'll just do the Wilmy and I'll just hit the X button. We're all gone immediately. It's like, this is too long. Done. But anyway, guys, have yourself a great Sunday. See you back here again next week. Share this out, like, comment, subscribe, good or bad. We appreciate your support and your feedback. It's always good. So take care, everybody. It was a lot of fun.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.